Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jason.
And there's Jason, and tonight Jason and I are going to do a shameless fundraising stream for the Superhero Rewind movie, which we are about to start working on. I mean, we've been working on it, but we're about to start shooting in April is the plan right now. We're really gearing up for that finally, and really stoked to start getting into that. Jason and I were running lines last night for some scenes that he and I are doing together. And Jason, we got to be careful not to tell people too much about the movie. I find that so hard to do when
we
we're
can't
doing
tell anyone.
long streams about the thing that we can't really talk too much about. But remind everybody the most basic of premises.
It's a time travel plot.
It's a time travel plot.
Yeah.
And and there are multiple Captain Logans in the movie.
Yes.
And you are playing one of those.
Playing one of those, yes.
We don't want to really say too much else.
No, we don't.
Folks have asked me if Dooms Vince is in the movie. He is indeed going to be in the movie. I can't say how much, but he is in the movie. Brandon Grimm is in the movie.
Brandon Grimm is in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brother Freddie
is in the movie.
is gonna be in there somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. We want to be careful not say too terribly much.
Yeah.
We are making this as a complete passion project. And by the way, I'm talking mostly right now to folks that didn't make it to the last one of these. We did a fundraising stream, was it November, beginning of December? It was last year, and it's been. I wanted to really space these out, of course, and we raised a whopping $750 that night.
Wow.
Which was shocking and wonderful, and I want to say thanks so much to everybody who did that. And I'm actually going to read their names here in just a little bit, and partly to remind them how much they've donated and what tier they're at, because. And if you've already donated and you've donated as much as you're going to, really appreciate you. You're awesome. We're doing this instead of Kickstarter, partly because we are a live stream channel and it seemed like kind of a fun way to do it. But if you happen to donate, and we had some of this the first stream even, where people put in multiple super chats. If you start topping your initial tier, it is all collective and you will be in that higher tier. So we will keep track of it. We'll do the math. Hopefully we do all the math correctly. But for instance, if you start at the $5, if you put in $5, you start at that tier, and then you decide, nah, I really like the perk at a higher tier, you can get there by putting a little bit more in if you decide to do that. So I want to remind everybody what tiers they're at currently, in case anybody decides to do that. No pressure at all. And also, no pressure if you just want to hang out with us and watch the Spawn Year movie.
Yeah. Because that's what we're doing.
Which is what we're doing tonight. So this is going to be really laid back. It's not going to be, unless it turns into this, but my plan is not for it to be a full-on commentary. Feel free to ask us questions about this old project while we're watching it, and about anything else while we're going. We can talk about anything under the sun while we're watching the Spawn Year movie. And because I own it, I can actually show it on the screen. So you're not going to have to sync up with us or anything.
Nope.
We're going to play the movie right into this stream and then talk over it. Brightburn says he can't hear us, but other people can, so that should be fine. Interact with us throughout the show, and we'll talk to everybody as much as humanly possible. So you want to be an Imagineer, already put in a $5 super chat to get us started, so really appreciate that. Once again, no pressure whatsoever. That first stream might be about as well as we're gonna do, and we will make the movie on whatever budget we have. So, like I said, passion project. Nobody's making any money of any kind doing this movie, and I mean nothing. We're not going to be running discs. We're not going to be selling, any merchandise for the movie, or rather, we're not going to be making any money on merchandise. So, if we happen to do T-shirts and posters and that kind of thing, it will be the cost of making those things, just so that you guys can have cool swag. We're not going to make any money on any of that stuff, and we're doing it very much like a fan film.
Yes.
And that's, partly just as a kind of, gift to you guys for, watching us all these years, and for Spawn Year fans to give them kind of a cool follow-up to that. I felt bad that Batman Year never panned out.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do some kind of a movie project like this, and really missed doing the narrative thing. So anyway, let me say thanks real quick to everybody that has already donated, and this is just in the order that they came in the first place. So in the first stream, we had Noah O, who put in a $5 super chat. Actually, you know what? Before we read this down, let me remind everybody what the tiers are. That will make more sense, don't you think? So if you put in $5 tonight, you'll get your name in the credits of the movie as a supporter. $10 lets you see the movie a week early, so we'll have a link, a digital link so that you can watch the movie early. At $20, we're going to have a group that's going to get to watch the movie with us, and with as much of the crew as we can get to come, and that'll be a day earlier than the official drop date, and then we'll have a Q&A after that. And then the very next day, we'll have it up for everybody publicly. For $35, you'll get a PDF of the rough and final draft. I had some people that were a little bit confused about this on the first stream, I think, or one or two people that were wondering if you got that early. That is going to be after the movie comes out, or at least, I don't want to promise anything, at least after that week early release. But I'm not going to let anybody read it right now because I don't want it to leak out, and I don't mean to not trust anybody, but I would hate for it to leak. So but you will get a PDF and get to look at the script and see how it's changed, and there are some pretty significant differences between the first and the second draft. So you'll get to look at those, and you'll get to see what we started with and what we ended up with versus what we actually ended up shooting. And I'm sure there will be lots of differences with the actual movie than even the final draft script, which I have in my Captain Little hands right here. Ooh. For $50, your YouTube username will appear in a scene, or you can suggest a terrible fake future superhero movie, and the name of that will appear somewhere in the movie. So I'm giving people the option between those two things. And for a $75 donation... Good. Yeah, for a $75 donation or more, you get a printed script, kind of like this one, signed by me and as much of the crew as I can get to sign it. We'll have some people that are working remotely that we probably won't be able to get to do that, but at least local folks that are working with us. And with the title page poster print by Ty Overall, which I can show you now, and I have released this already, but for anybody that didn't see it on the community tab post or anywhere, this is the teaser poster, which is based on Wolverine #1, the first issue of the ongoing. So I think that's like volume 2. Is it volume 2 or 3? Of the ongoing that started in '89, I think. And this is, I love it so much that this, like I called it a teaser poster. It's the official poster for the movie. If we were able to, this won't happen, but if we were able to put this in a movie theater, this would be the poster you would see. And I like it so much. So he did a wonderful job on that. Thanks a ton to Ty for making that for us. Anyway, those are all the tiers. Before I read the names of folks that have donated already, let me also mention that there are 2 ways that you can donate, and it's the same as it was last time. So if you want to bypass Super Chat and you want to donate through PayPal, PayPal.com, and then you can put in my email address, which is in the description of the stream, and that lets you donate directly to us, and we would get 100% of that to put toward the movie. If you want to do a super chat, which is what most people have done, YouTube will take the cut that they always take. So bear that in mind, but it's totally up to you either way. And I'm going to match it as well as humanly possible. But we will have more to work with if you go through PayPal. We've had a couple of people that have done bigger donations through PayPal. I think we've had at least one person do a $100 donation that way and a $50 donation that way, which was super amazing and cool, and I really appreciate you guys. So that is a way to do that. And that's how you donate. So Super Chat or PayPal, email address in the description. And please send me an email if you would, and if you do donate and you're at one of the tiers where you get something in the movie, so that I can talk to you and get your ideas, your either your your username, which I guess I'll have the username, but your like fake superhero movie name, I'll need to get that from you. So anything like that, or if we're sending you a script, we'll need your address. So anyway, I will have a list of all of the individual creators, all the individual YouTube channels, and or users, I should say. And if I can't get a hold of you, I will put out just kind of a blast to everybody. I wish it was easier to get a hold of people these days, through YouTube, but YouTube makes it kind of difficult. But if you need to get a hold of me personally, the easiest way is the email address in the description, or you can message me on Discord, or you can message me on Patreon if you're a patron. Those are all ways to get a hold of me. And we just got a couple of huge super chats already to get this whole ball rolling, and if this is all we get this entire evening, we're in really good shape. So I appreciate you guys. So where do I start here? Okay, so my goal originally was $3,000 for this movie, and I'm gonna fill in as much as I'm able to, of course, with my own income and super chats from other shows and stuff too, but this like guarantees that it goes specifically to this project, because this is what I do for a job, so that money goes to other things as well. But this all will go specifically to the movie. So $750, I'm sinking that right into the movie, and now more than that. So what do? Do I read these first?
Yeah, let's read these first,
and then go back and thank everybody from last time. Okay, this is amazing. I really appreciate you guys. How about just a gong right away? CM Productions, $50 super chat. He says $50 toward the movie, and so his username or a terrible superhero movie name will appear in the film, and everything else before that. So you get all of the perks from all the tiers before that as well. I meant to mention that. It's a lot of information. Hey guys, can't be here live, but wanted to give some to the movie funds. Love the channel and all you guys do. Thanks for all the great content. Cannot wait for the movie. We can't wait to make it. It's going to take some time, but we're hoping to put it out next year sometime. And we're going to shoot as much of it as possible this year. I don't know. I'm already flummoxed, Jason.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and log that. So CM Productions from tonight's stream, right under So You Want to Be an Imagineer. Thanks again to those guys. CM Productions, $50 toward the movie. And Donnie St. Pierre put in a $100 donation and says, got to run to work on the first draft of my novel, 33,000 words and counting. Congratulations, man. Good luck with that. But I missed the first stream, so here's my contribution. Let's make this happen. My goodness. Thanks a lot. Once again, good luck on your novel. Congratulations on already having... So your average novel length is somewhere between 80 and 100,000 words, so he is at about the third...
Yeah.
About 33 to 40% in, it sounds like. So
yeah.
Nicely done. Good job. Tell me what it's about. Tell me what you're doing. But yeah, floored. Amazing. You're awesome. We get these huge donations, and I want to just like get stuck in it. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to talk to that person for the next 15, 20 minutes for being so cool to help us out with this whole thing. Brightburns, do you need my email address so I can give you my address if you need it? Yes, please do that. We need a better system for this.
Yeah, we do. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you... Just those three places that I mentioned... send me your address so that I can get you the script and everything that we've offered. So you'll want to, and I guess that's a way in which it would have been easier to go through Kickstarter. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to leave that up to you guys to make sure and get me that information. And if I don't get it from you, I will reach out and figure that out. Of course. We are organized on my side. I've got everybody's names. I need you to be able to contact us. So anyway, Donnie St. Pierre, $100 donation. And if you email me, just put Spawn Your Movie, or not Spawn Your, pardon me, Superhero Rewind Movie, Superhero Rewind Movie Donation, something like that in the title, so that I will definitely see it, and so that I can search it out later on if I need to. Does that make sense? Okay. So
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna send you an email, but
you're not gonna send me an email?
that would be funny.
Last time, again, just in the order that they came in, Noah O put in a $5 donation. Alex Barron, $10. Robert Wild, $5. Carl Maxey, $5. Bright Burns, a total of $55. Great and Powerful Dodd, $5. Goofster123, $20. SS Jerry, $5. CM Productions, $10. Victor Herman, $5. Jonathan Campbell, $5. Skyme, $5. Chewbacca's Lover, $160 total. Austin Harn, $50. Bob the Hun, $10. Makura, $5. Checkers, $77. Dan Schneider, $5. Thomas Lowe, $101.75. Michael Martin, $100. Played Out, $5. Ben Script Super, $5. James Egan, $5. Josh, $5. Kando Tor, $5. And Dan Schneider, $50. And again tonight, so you want to be an Imagineer, $5. CM Productions, $50. And Donnie St. Pierre, $100. And, it's not a game, it's not a race or anything. I'm not comparing anybody against each other, but I just wanted, once again, everybody to get credit for the donations, and for you to be reminded how much you've donated if you decide to put in any more, but no pressure, of course. And you guys are all just absolutely spectacular. I'm just going to say that over and over again tonight, I am sure. Hey, we're also going to do a giveaway tonight. So we have, and I showed this off on the last Smallville stream, but I think that's the only place I've shown this. Or did I post it on the community tab? I may have, I can't remember. Maybe. But anyway, speaking of Ty made us a 10th anniversary Spawn Year print, which I'm going to make available soon for purchase. I'm still trying to decide what site I'm going to go through, so I don't know if it's going to cost... It's probably going to cost somewhere between $15 and $20, and I don't want to promise what the price is going to be yet, so I still need to get that figured out. But we're going to give away a couple of those tonight, and they will be like 8.5 by 11s, so... like smaller posters that you can put on a wall if you want to, and they look like this. So this is the 10th anniversary Spawn Year print. He actually made this up for me last year, which was technically the 10th anniversary, but we're still celebrating the 10th anniversary of Spawn Year because it is the 10th anniversary of the finale. Ooh. And of course, we're watching that along with a bunch of episodes of the series that we put together as a movie all those years ago. But yeah, so the way that's going to work tonight, folks, is if you happen to put in a donation, Super Chat or PayPal, if you do the PayPal thing, let me know about it in the comments here, and we'll see that. And then we're going to do a drawing where we're going to randomize those names right at the end, and we're going to pick two. So you don't have to be here to, the kind of the classic blurb, like you don't have to be present to win, but we're gonna draw two names at the end of people that donate this evening. So you do have to have shown up to this one and donate to get in that. And then those folks will have a chance at getting a poster, just as an extra incentive, but I'm going to make those posters available soon also, if you'd like to buy one. So anyway, Jason, we had a question at the beginning that I wanted to tackle, if I can find it. James Egan, how much of the movie has changed since its inception based on the current landscape of superhero movies?
Ooh.
So I started writing the movie early last year, and I wrote about half of it, and then I took a break, and then I came back and I wrote the rest. And there were a couple of bigger superhero movies that came out in the interim that did slightly actually end up changing the script.
Slightly. I can think of one, but...
The big one is Flash.
Flash.
I actually do
that's where I
have
found
a
it.
reference or two to that movie that changed based on what that movie actually turned out to be. And because we're having to kind of guess at the future with this movie, and it is very satirical, we're going to get a lot of stuff wrong, and it's going to be kind of who cares. But at least for stuff that has come out by the time the movie gets made,
Yeah.
I got to be as accurate as possible. But yeah, and then, I had the idea, more or less, of what this would be like. I don't know, probably a couple of years before I committed to it and started writing it, and I think in its way it probably got more. I don't know if cynical is the right word, but like jokingly cynical.
Yeah, it
as
definitely did.
as superhero movies have gotten, a lot of them worse,
Yeah.
and as especially Marvel has been not as great lately,
Yeah, I feel like it was.
and as people have kind of turned on the genre some.
It became a lot more. At least it became. I think a little bit more about how superhero movies are like so bad, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Alex says, I hope there's a small reference to Madam Web somewhere in there. That's the thing, is like I would have to go back in now that I've seen that movie and add something about that. And I think things like that could end up happening like on the day as we're shooting. I'm not going to go back and rewrite pieces of the script every time a movie comes out and I have some other reference I want to make, especially because that will start elongating the script and I had to shave some pages out of it. So.
But I mean, you never know. Best thing about the future, it hasn't happened yet. So,
Yeah, exactly. Jason, do you want to go ahead and just start watching the Spawn Year movie?
Sure. Let's do it.
Sorry for the very long preamble, but a lot of information there, and I had to put a lot of that in the last show too. But for folks that didn't make that show,
Yeah.
there it is.
There it is.
Anything you want to add before we get rolling here?
No. Not really. Thank you for everyone who has donated thus far.
Can you mention? James says you could always improve it in the moment, and I'm sure we'll do some of that.
Yeah.
When we were making Spawn Year, there was definitely some improvisation, and keep in mind that a lot of Spawn Year is scripted and voiceover, but when we're shooting the prologue and the epilogue and all the end of show stuff, a lot more of that is more traditional narrative like a movie, and especially with Vince.
Yeah.
There's always quite a bit of improvisation that happens.
Vince would be like, hey, I just like turn the camera on and I'll do this a specific way.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, but you probably will.
This will come up when we're watching the movie, but the bit toward the end where Doom's Vince is prattling on to Vince, where they're sitting on a couch together, he made that up entirely. I didn't script any of that, and I actually wrote that in the script, like just Doom's Vince talks to Vince, and I didn't write any of it because I wanted it to be improvised and I wanted to see what he would do with it, and that was the fastest thing we shot that day.
Wow.
We did that in one take.
I do remember shooting that.
Do you remember him doing that?
I do remember him doing
We
that.
did it in one take.
Yeah.
I cracked up so hard at it. I told him we don't even need to do it again. It's perfect. And then what's amazing is he sits next to himself. He's just a natural at this stuff, and he's so professional at it. He sits next. We have we have that bit where he's talking to Vince, and Vince sits down in the opposite side of the couch. And he's pretending like Doom's Vince is sitting there talking, and so he's like nodding and getting bored and rolling his eyes. And I didn't play it back for him, so he did that with nothing at all. And then when you put them side by side,
it
lines up.
It actually looks pretty good.
Perfectly lines up. I don't even know how he did that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and watch that movie. We're gonna be here kind of late tonight. And it's going to be on your screen, and we will give you a little bit of commentary as we go, but maybe not as much as we usually do. You're going to be able to hear it as we're going. Feel free to chime in and talk about anything you want to, Jason, or ask me stuff as it comes up. You've seen this quite a bit.
I have actually, yeah.
I want to say you and your mom and some of the kids watched this not too long ago too.
Yeah, maybe like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
8 months.
I think
ago.
for like Halloween last year.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that.
I think it was around that time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Usually I would say everybody press play, but I'm not going to have to.
Yeah.
I don't know why it always says applause.
There's the spawn.
So I'm going to leave
guess.
the subtitles up.
That is indeed music.
Just so that you guys can hear the, or can read some of the dialogue as we're talking over some of it. Look how young I am there, Jason.
That's insane. Your glasses are so, like, thin. It's really funny.
Turn this up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear it okay.
And hear us, okay?
Let me know how the balance is, guys.
Hey, that's me in the credits.
We're just watching this through
The heck, that's me.
YouTube. Yeah, and you were 3 when we started shooting this.
Hey, look, it's me.
Isn't that wild? Vince and I have an official commentary on this movie.
Hey,
if you ever want to go back and listen to that.
Tried to keep them up as late as I could, but I think
Alex says I was a child, yeah.
Oh, night, kid. Happy New Year. Hey, by the way,
He was a child.
who's this?
Look how much of a child you were. Spawn.
Yeah, 2-0.
0 is that's 20th. It was his 20th anniversary.
And yeah, I
wonder if
learned
Todd McFarlane had two-year-olds
to
in mind
edit multiple
when he
takes
said his
together
dream was to
with this movie.
make it swell.
Oh, really?
We would,
I don't know, Sarah.
yeah, what we would
He
do
had a
is
whole hockey team of
we would
10-year-olds,
perform
so who knows?
a whole scene or half a scene together,
As long
like a
as
scene,
he's
a
not
shot
dead.
like this, like me and your mom
Oh,
or
he's
me
gonna
and
be wearing
Vince.
Spawn pajamas before he's reading the Spawn, especially issue 5.
Sorry, I'm gonna drop this a little bit more.
Well, are you
I'm just hoping everybody can hear us.
ball drop? I figured the world didn't end,
Yeah.
so we should celebrate.
Sarah, I've got.
But yeah, so what we would do is we would perform it 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, with the 3 angles. So the camera would be on me, the camera would be on your mom, the camera would be on the both of us, and then I would cut those 3 takes together.
I lost so much time with all that traveling we did for Christmas.
And I mean,
was really counting
how
on
it's
that.
mic'd is, I thought it
Just come
always
up
sounded
just
pretty
before
good.
midnight and have some champagne.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
of
with the
course, I
different
can
angles
do
and
that.
stuff.
And
Well, and you're not always
I'll do my level best.
okay.
Night, kid.
hearing the mic from the angle that you're seeing.
Well, right, 'cause-
Because of the way we would do that. So sometimes
It would
you know,
overlap.
It would overlap, yeah. Bag says the balance is good. Okay, great. Brightburns, did you keep the creepy teddy bear that Jason hugs in this?
We did, in fact.
I told you there was a reason to get that out. See, there
we
it
did,
is.
in fact.
Right there.
Oh, there
I
you
just
go.
fell over.
You couldn't really do this at, like, where you have the desk now.
Tom says he's watched the prologue about 600 times as well, with Vince coming down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all the candles.
Look
Look at the production value.
Look, it's the computer that will never turn on.
And that computer will never turn on.
It's not a real computer.
Welcome to the afterlife, Captain Logan.
Whoa, he got
You're dead.
over there very fast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he has hair.
What are you doing here?
Oh, wait, does he?
And what's with all
He's got more than he used to.
And where's my Mountain Dew?
What's with
told
the
you.
fish? And what's with
You're
the fish?
dead.
For?
I'm done.
I've still got that Arkham City
God.
You
standing.
do. It's
right over there.
Reenactment of Tapestry.
Tapestry? What is this?
I almost sold that at a yard sale,
You know,
but
the
I ended up
next gen
keeping it.
episode where Picard goes to limbo and
It's really funny. Like,
And I got an Xbox
You
360
know I
on
don't
the
watch Star Trek.
desk.
Really? You're dead.
What were you gonna say?
I'm
will
God.
does the Xbox 360 turn on?
You're God. Then
That's my
I
question.
don't know. It's funny that the technology is not supposed to turn on, but there's a blue light back there.
Yeah, there is, and there's like the
Okay, fine,
microphone
I'm not
has
gonna
like the red light on.
Why
it
didn't
and
I turn
stuff.
all that off?
Well, it's like this. You're only
God, I'm so lazy.
kinda dead.
Kinda dead. Like Buffy at the end of season 2.
More like Buffy at the end of season 5. Only she goes to heaven, comes back to life,
And
and you're in a purgatory of your own making.
So was that just some
Yeah, that was hard not to
shade
laugh.
metaphor for my
It
life,
was hard not to laugh through that.
or are you
That's
actually
great.
serious?
I kind of cringe at the color balance of the earliest episodes
yeah,
of this. There's a lot of stuff I learned on the fly.
it's very like
I hate
blue.
when that happens.
Or like green. I don't.
have to believe me.
Yeah, well, I said color balance, more contrast, so it's more washed out than it should be, and I shouldn't even bring this up and admit this, because now you won't be able to unsee it, but the first 30 episodes or so, maybe I started even a little bit before that, but they're too washed out, and I wasn't contrast correcting, and then later I started doing that on Tim Lyon's recommendation. He was like, you know, this looks a little bit too washed out. Like, you can't just use the footage exactly as it is in the camera. You have to correct it, and it's one button. It's easy to do. I just didn't know how to do it, or I didn't know to do it.
Before you black
It was.
Although I say that,
How was it?
I think I actually went back when we put this movie together and did it with some of this, but there's certain shots where I can tell I missed it.
Oh, okay.
Come to think of it, I
So if you go back and put this side by side with the prologue as it is on YouTube, like as a separate video,
I only took away every recollection you have connected to Spawn.
It's really funny whenever I actually like go back to Tapestry. I always think of the scene.
Again, this is purgatory of your own making.
yeah, I can't help but I get real self-indulgent. I can't help but put Star Trek references in.
The only hope
Yeah.
There are none though. Zero. You'll see no Star Trek references whatsoever
No Star Trek
in the
references
actual
there.
movie. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
You'll see no more than 8.
Okay.
No more than 8.
That was your best line delivery in all of Spawn year.
Oh, thanks, man.
going to call it more
Why?
been awesome.
So I have no problem going back and watching myself when I'm on camera doing reviews and stuff. This is hard to go back to.
Really?
Oh, so now I have your
Bits of this I'm happy enough with my performance. But some of it I kind of cringe a little bit, and there's stuff in the finale that I really am like,
That's all you ever do. Review things
And drink Mountain Dew.
Well, look what that's gotten you.
He did 2 or 3 takes before that, before we finally got the cadence of that going, and he did that being sillier, and I was like, no, you gotta lean into that. That's wonderful. The you
Put it in a notebook
of
I will
it.
provide to you instead of a word processor because I thought it would be mean. And what happens if I
It is
don't?
mean. What is with this angle?
Stay here.
If I did it now,
This angle's great though.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's very cute. You know,
Yes,
of course.
Because he's cute. Pretty much.
But yeah, no, this contrast here I fixed. But if you go back to it in the original prologue, it doesn't look as good.
See, I've just
Consider
seen
this
this.
your new home for the
version
next
so
year,
much.
Captain Logan.
Brightburns, no offense, but this kind of looks like a student film somebody made at film school. Like, if I went to film school, I'd probably make something similar. Thanks, man! Well,
Wow.
I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. And we'll see if stuff looks a little better this next time.
I mean, you knew how to write at least.
B, it's equipment you're working with. C, it's YouTube content.
Yeah.
You will be buried alive.
No, I take that as a compliment.
Items in the grave. If you manage to get through everything,
I'm actually really happy with some of the lighting effects. Some of the practical lighting effects I got on the set, though. We shot this in a very tiny bedroom in the basement of my old house, which is the bedroom that Eric lived in for 3 years.
I will return you to the office. That isn't
And it was the tick room for a while.
And we built this on the back wall, and so that's just a black piece of fabric in the background. Sometimes it's obscured enough with smoke that it actually looks like it keeps going back, and sometimes you can tell it's fabric.
I accept your challenge.
So if you happen to be just popping in, we're doing a fundraising stream tonight. We're gonna stick around until the Spawn Year movie is done, and if you'd like to see all the cool tiers of perks that you can get on the movie for donation, check those out in the description. We have now raised. I should have like a thing on the screen that says like how much money we've raised.
And Captain Logan.
But we are at what? $900 now.
900.
Yeah. Which is just spectacular.
That's-
And
yeah,
like I
that's
said, if
crazy.
that's all we do tonight, I'm very, very happy with that. I didn't expect to get anything to get anywhere near where we did the first show. And and like I said, I would love to get, you know, as close to $3,000 eventually as possible, but we're at close to $1,000, and we'll be able to make the movie on that. I'll be able to get some better equipment if we can go a little bit beyond that. So yeah, all I see are flaws now.
The
This is
super-
hard to look at. Like
the subtitles. I am doing this.
the cover is too stretched. Like I wasn't used to the software.
Yeah.
And so I made some mistakes like that. So the movie version has the first episode after the prologue, just because it establishes the format of the reviews, and the first issue is the most iconic of the of the Spawn issues. And then after that, I just start playing kind of like the greatest hits and most important story episodes.
Yeah.
And this version of it has a couple more reviews than the original version I did for a red carpet party we had, where I went back and I added the Todd McFarlane documentary and a couple of other things.
Why is he dressed this way? Why was he brought back to life? I'm completely intrigued by this atmosphere and pacing, and astounded at the command of narrative this artist is presenting.
It's a lot of big words.
Then, bam. A page
No.
that anchors for exposition.
Oh god, the exposition heads.
I suddenly
Are
learned
those
about
through,
4
like,
times more about
the
Al
whole,
Simmons than he
like,
currently,
series?
They
because of
they
his
come
amnesia,
back and
knows about
forth.
himself.
I kind of like my hair in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked your, like, curly hair, like, up here.
Yeah, it doesn't curl up like that now because I keep it long.
Caused his death, and that he's a monstrous, disgusting, charred corpse.
I also sound a lot younger.
He gets those answers. I
You
don't
do.
generally like
You
the
had, like, a
amnesia
completely
plot,
different
but I'm going
voice.
with it because McFarlane is competent enough to show Al already.
Yeah, and I think some of that is like people that you spend a lot of time with that help you kind of change your cadence
I
and.
don't need this external exposition to tell me Al was a covert ops agent who killed for a living.
So yeah, I
but I'm just
hand
going
wrote
to
the
see
entire
Al
show.
himself learn that later. I suppose
Yeah, I
McFarlane
actually
has
forgot
three
about
anchors
that.
to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that
And we found all the
news is always
notebooks, or we found a lot of them
A lot
They
of
strike
them.
on the
really
last stream.
hard to
We
make
pulled
an
those out of
independent news
boxes.
host
It was
talking about
awesome.
Spawn makes sense. I doubt anyone in the history of the world has ever said those spikes and chains are simply darling prior to this. And worse, this news anchor page happens twice.
Oh, Naderman PNG, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but how do you plan to distribute this? Will it be on the channel, Patreon, both, or something else? Yeah, no, we're putting this out completely for free. It will be as a video, so this is just going to be a very expensive YouTube video.
I
And
like that Spawn is presented without
it will
question
be
as a
available
superhero.
for
Al sees he's wearing a costume and instantly
folks
starts reading
at a
the pages
particular
for
tier
now.
early,
Now,
like a
he or
week
I won't
early.
know very much about him,
But
he
beyond that,
fits
everybody
from
will see it at the same time, and we'll never be selling it. It'll be free as soon as it comes up.
Especially the cape, and even behind his mask, Spawn is
So again, for folks that want to put
I see
in
brooding Spawn,
donations
confident Spawn,
tonight,
surprised Spawn,
you can see the
obsessed
film a
Spawn.
week
And
early
my
for a
personal
$10
favorite,
super chat or
unimaginative
PayPal donation,
Spawn,
and at
surrounded
$20
by
you get to watch the movie with me
Each
and
collection
the
of
crew a
names of
day
great
before
characters
the
depicted
official
Sam and Twitch
early
is
drop
a
date.
single page that expertly
Does that make
introduces
sense? So
archetypes
8
of
days
Batman,
before it goes up on the
featuring
main
the
channel.
fat cop
Okay.
and his little spoken but sarcastic and highly intelligent partner, while also providing
Okay, so that's
information on the mysteries
so
of
that's
the murdered
before
members
the
of mob.
the like
That's
week
how you do
early.
exposition. I
date,
suddenly have
not
all this
the
information.
Right,
actual
so a
date.
day
Okay.
before the week early
Mystery
date.
of
Okay,
murdered members
cool.
of the
Yep,
mob.
and then it goes to the $10 tier, and then a week after that it goes to everybody.
So that no
Sometimes the
one that
comic
is
feels
there
like a
has seen
commercial
it.
for another comic.
Yeah,
Three
exactly.
references to Young Bloods, and one is even in bold typeface. Even with distractions like that, it's a confident book that gives every indication it's going in a sure direction. With the mysterious clock that sometimes shows up and starts counting down from
I've been thinking a lot
and the
about
appearance
eventually
of a
getting
hideous,
a Spawn-ear
devilish
tattoo
monster
of some
at the end
kind,
promises to make,
and
well, hell.
I think what I've landed on
Does the
is
issue make me wanna continue?
the Spawn
Absolutely.
clock, but
Ready
going
for an
vertically.
entire year of this,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't like that?
I don't like it.
Okay.
Because it's not the Spawner clock.
Signed,
Like,
Captain Logan.
Well, that's true. It's not the Spawn-ear
it's
clock,
not the one
but
that was in.
it looks
Spawner.
cool.
I think it looks.
It does show up in the book that way.
I think it looks kind of dumb.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, I may not do that. Naderman PNG. Oh, a new viewer. Thanks, man. He says, thanks for the clarification. This is really interesting. I'm new to the channel, and this is kind of amazing.
Of Spawn Year.
Really appreciate the question, and thanks a lot for watching. Yeah, so this was Spawn Year. We made this 10 years ago now.
which is insane.
And it took me 2 years. It was supposed to be a fully produced review with this narrative component every day for a whole year. It took me 2 years ultimately to finish it. I got really burnt out at one point because the narrative is just not very good ultimately. And, I mean, Todd McFarlane's narrative. You be the judge about mine. So, I do regret selling some of this stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of it I still have. Like, the car I kept, some of the figures I still have. I did sell my entire Spawn comic collection
Did you kill
a few months after Spawn Year was over. No, what?
Did you
A
sell
couple of years after Spawn Year was over. Say again?
Did you sell Overkill?
I think I still have Overkill somewhere.
Do you still have Jason Wynn?
When there's his head.
There's his head.
There's Overkill's head flying off. I do still have Jason Wynn somewhere.
Okay.
So Overkill. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back for a second. We have been talking about doing something really fun though. There's a local store that has a local action figure store that has the Spawn Alleyway playset still in box, and Jason and I have been kicking around getting that and then trying to make a Spawn Year playset and like rebuild the Mountain Dew throne on it.
This wasn't just about comics, I realized.
If we ever do that, obviously we'll make a video on it, and I'll just display it in the bunker somewhere. We've also been talking about finally doing a display of Spawn Year props in the bunker.
On the other side of the comic are the instructions.
Alex Beer and I forgot about how cool the Spawn Year logo was. Yeah, Dan's News made that.
Told me I'd better study these rules.
He did such a great job with that. That was the very first thing that was made for this show. I want to say he built me that before I shot a frame. So I had started writing the handwritten stuff, but that's all I had done so at that point. I start writing the show in August of that year, or of the year prior, right? So 2012, I start writing the show, and I wrote the first 3 weeks worth, I believe, before we shot the prologue.
The actual game in front of me. These rules are just as convoluted and overwritten as the worst issues of the comic have been. Isn't it
one of the things that makes it hard for me to go back to Spawn Year is just I have a tendency, and I still do this, I have a tendency to read scripted material too fast, and there are places where I'm like, God, just slow down. I don't know how anybody's following this.
Yeah.
It looks really complicated.
And it kind of drives me crazy. I think I did okay on this episode.
To create pages of
And this episode is
rolling
great.
dice to determine how far
Brandon came over and helped me figure some of this out.
And this is Brandon's favorite episode.
Yeah, so he helped me. I thought about trying to get him here tonight, but he was busy this weekend, so he wouldn't be able to make it.
Where you're supposed to
Anyway, but yeah, we used magnets under the board to move figures around. We did this crazy thing where we've got figures floating up in the air, and we had to like cut wires to take them off, to take figures off.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Brightburns, can't you look at digital versions of the original Spawn? Yeah, you can now. You can now. It had not been printed at that point. That soft focus looked nice.
It did.
Some of this still looks pretty cool.
If, for example, you roll
I'm really happy with the lighting in this episode.
Is this board game actually bad?
It's god awful. It's the worst thing ever.
It's about re-rolling. It only seems complicated because the rules don't tell
and
you
we
what the
got
power
somebody to play it on camera. Was it Vince? I think we got Vince to come over and play it on camera with us while we were learning it. And I have footage somewhere of him getting pissed off about how boring it is.
determines how many dice you throw. You get more for pages. If you roll
Do you still
James
have that
Egan, I
footage?
think everybody is distracted by the movie to donate. Yeah, I didn't know how well this would work. We were just looking for something fun to do and not make it the exact stream that we did last time. If you feel like staying up a little bit after this, or maybe you can go to bed and I'll stick around. I might stick around and talk to people for a little while after this in case people just want to have conversation.
I wish you could stream into the Demon's Hand. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I should come up with some kind of converter at some point to HDMI so that we can do that.
Because that game's actually like pretty fun.
But again, even if we don't have any more donations tonight, we're in much better shape than I thought we'd be by this point.
The second comic he sent me today was just a
And we'll just have fun going back and reminiscing about this crazy project.
If I hadn't noticed and studied
It's
the
nuts that
rules,
it's
I
been
would
this
have
long
predicted the
and that
match.
we
As
haven't
for the
managed to
Super Nintendo game,
complete
there would be a
anything like
prize
this
if I was
again.
victorious, and
We did
penalty
make some episodes of
if I was
Batman
not.
Year,
If I
and I
defeated
had to
Doom's
abandon
Vince,
that because
he
I
would
just didn't have
finally
time to
allow
work
me
on it.
any single inanimate object to keep in the graveyard
and
for
get it out
the
anything like
spawn.
on time.
It had to be something I personally owned. Oh God, was he in my real house?
And, you know, there's
And it
other
had to be the
reasons as
very
well,
first thing
but,
that came to mind.
What's
Oh,
really
God,
funny
could
is
you
maybe I've talked
imagine?
about this. I have come up with a potential way to
Focusing on a
actually bring
photograph
it
of
back
my life
without starting
more than
over.
anything else,
Like, I've got
I wanted to
ideas
see
for how I would do it.
And if I lost,
And I don't know, maybe
my
someday.
would
It'd be
losing
really
the
funny if I
score
actually
of
looked a
my
lot
card
older when I went back to it.
graveyard.
Yeah.
The sketch pad, the
Because for the
iPod,
concept I
everything.
have for it, it would be
Sick as I am of
perfectly
Spawn
acceptable
stuff,
for
if I
me to
don't
be
have all
7 or
that,
10 years
I'm
older
looking
than
at
the
some
last time we shot on that.
gravestones, corpse of a jacket that
I
hangs
kick it
in the
around
basement of
sometimes,
wouldn't be here.
so I don't know. Never say never, it could come
Honest,
back.
His prize was priceless and his penalty sadistic.
The interest
Once
wasn't
again, I
wasn't really there. There wasn't as much interest in it as there seemed to be for Spawn Year. But then again, here's that shot.
It is. Okay, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks better than it has any right to be.
That hand coming through, didn't look great.
We did all that entirely practically, so that is actually Brandon's hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's younger than me. Little known fact.
And then one of us, I can't remember who, snaps a wire at the top so that then it can come down. So they're all dangling. We had to cut the right one.
I do. I think I remember doing.
There is a small bit of
You guys
strategy
doing that.
in
I think I was
when
there.
to roll to increase your power level, when to
It-
play extra power chips, and mostly
It was
placing
such a long
cards
time
with higher
ago that, like, I don't
power requirements for
remember
advancement,
a
where
lot
they'll
of it,
stall
but
your
like
opponent,
some of like the
blow a
big
cross
stuff
card,
I do
where they'll
remember.
move you
Yeah.
I
out
do
faster.
remember
But it's
this.
also
I
simple and
remember in the
straightforward.
Demon's
There's never
Hand.
more than
I
one or
remember
two
some of the
possible
Tiny Adam
choices.
West stuff.
What made our game especially dull was
So
nearly only
we
the
shot
cards that could
tons
play
and tons of
board
B-roll
because that
of
story
Vince
wasn't
just
out.
doing
Those are just
crazy
discarded and you thought they were
facial
there.
expressions
So
and
even though most
reacting
of
to
the
things
pieces
in
of
lots of
board
different
were
ways,
too powerful
and we
for
used
one,
them all through the
colors
year
with
for
no power
lots of
at
different
all.
contacts.
The odds of rolling
I probably
one or
had
two spawn
30
items
minutes
was
worth
low
of
enough.
worth of
We were
that
looking
material.
about as in a hurry to
Nearly
everything
everything
but
you see in
spawn
this
itself.
episode we shot for this
This is how it should
episode.
have been in the comics.
And I just remembered that.
Did you ever, like, reuse anything?
That's why he so rarely accomplishes anything.
Oh
We were
yeah, quite a
neck and
bit.
neck through the first
Just
quarter.
kind of hope people
Trust
don't
me,
notice too
this
much.
was no horse
I
race.
also
Play hard,
cheated
roll,
a
get 2 or
lot
3,
in,
move forward
and again,
once
this is a
safe,
thing that once I
Sometimes
say it,
one of us would get a special
you won't be
card
able to
or use
unsee it.
energy chip and get a
But
little
I
further.
slowed down
Doom's Vince
footage
was
quite a
livid
bit.
when Violator came out
Yeah.
and caught up to him.
Yeah, where I would
Five
like
spaces behind, and I got the feeling he was
slightly
already
change
frustrated
the
that this
rate
wasn't
of
the
it.
epic battle he had anticipated.
Maybe even
As
this
the
is one of those
monotony
shots
wore on,
where I'd
he
have
began
exactly the right
hurting on.
expression
I
that I
had his
needed, but I
attention
didn't have
and
quite
I
enough
had to
footage.
turn several times. About
So I needed it to be like a
45
second or two
minutes in,
longer,
he
so I
started
would just
to
stretch it and
just
he
to
would
get the thing
move
over
just a
with.
little bit
Missing opportunities
more
from
slowly.
fans or set me back intentionally.
And for some of this
Hadn't
kind of more
come to
surreal
the
stuff, it
finish
works okay.
line. I had had enough
There are
of
places
myself.
though where I
Nothing
cheated
was
too
more
much and even
torturous
did
than
it like when I was reading a
shooting
comic
me
book or
out
something.
for cash-in piece of
I-
merchandising. There wasn't
and
even
that
much
that stuff
effort
doesn't look
investment
great.
put into the design. Reprinting comic pages for cards,
Okay, I said I like the lighting in this episode. There's a couple places with the board where suddenly there's not as much lighting, and I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
After humiliating defeat. Even when I thought I'd won, I always lost. This is Doom's Vince's game room, and the cards have been stacked against me from the beginning.
This episode's
This
long.
time, Doom's Vince didn't count on getting caught in the web of missed opportunities.
It's
and
Doom's Vince, not Goose Man.
so much of
Yeah,
the rules.
it keeps
It's
doing
strands
that.
stretching all the way to
These
the
subtitles
skill
called
points
Doom's
These
Vince
subtitles suck.
Guzman.
Earlier, he was like, "I am Doom's Vince," and it just said, "I am doing this," and it's day one. Dude,
It just can't. It just doesn't get Goose Vince.
I closed
Alex
my
Barron,
eyes.
give yourself a break, Cap. You made 365 of these. Yeah, I did cut some corners. It's hard not to be kind of.
I was holding.
Hey, how'd your hands go there? That face is great.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, I'm pretty critical of some of this stuff now. I also want to finally do a commentary on the documentary at some point. Oh, it finally got Doom's
But then
Vince.
it said Spawn here. So.
I'm sorry, what day is it of Spawn here?
Is it 100?
Plus,
Is this the,
gonna have to edit the
documentary?
subtitles. I'd love to go in and do custom subtitles for this at some point. I don't know if
They
I'd ever take the time to do it.
Doing that, like, it takes way too long. It takes like 5 hours.
But... well, and this is a 2.5 hour video, so there's a Spawn movie. I don't think I had that in the red carpet version either.
Today I have achieved
No,
an
I don't think you
astounding
did.
landmark.
I just thought that was a
100
significant
days
enough
of
thing to
Spawn.
put in, especially because
You also put the documentary in,
Small items
right?
and 100 days of being
yes,
doing
I mentioned that
something
earlier, yeah.
agitating
But
and
I
content.
took out
So much has happened to me
or
emotionally.
sorry, because of copyright flags, I
My priorities
lost
at home were so
the
bad.
old rewind
To think,
for the Spawn
the last
movie.
thing I said to my wife before
A long time ago. There's no way to watch that now, which I'm fine with because it's not a great review. But this kind of ended up being like a second draft of that, and that's part of why I.
You know, that's the first video Austin ever saw.
I really
This?
No, the rewind of the Spawn movie.
Oh,
that was
interesting.
The first Tiki Evolution video he ever saw.
I'm sure he's told me that, but I didn't
And even
remember.
going forward, I want to like
Bag filmmaking is all about cutting corners. You just have to have fun, trying not to get caught. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't reveal everything.
Yeah, don't reveal everything, then.
It's just that's the stuff that's coming to me while we're watching
Where'd the
this.
skull go?
Something to distract me from my admittedly violent frustration with the main comics. Then I had a moment of panic. What if this was another video game? Another impossible contest I couldn't win, but with a prize
Oh, no.
I desperately wanted. And then, what if
And you
I
can
did
really
win? The
tell
prize turned out to be
that
just
I was
another
just
temptation.
becoming an AVGN
Then,
fan
what
as I
if
was
the
shooting
prize was
this.
Getting my pen back.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I can't believe I had
That
to
stuff
fight
was
that fuck
really
on the
influential,
tombstone
and
again.
I don't think I full on ripped him off, but
I
it
should've
just like
known.
subconsciously
With no Doomsday's head,
was
no
very
preamble,
inspirational
New Line Cinema logo
on
appeared
this, and I
screen,
think
was pretty
probably
sure
helped me
I
to be
knew
more
what this
expressive.
was.
So was there actually a button on that
It is
tombstone?
intruded on a
No,
lot
there was
of
not.
Spawn
Oh.
comics I've been
There was
reading.
not. We did not invest in a
I felt its
button.
premise looming as strongly
That
as
you can't even
Doomsday's.
see.
And now I finally have
Bag,
the chance
by
to
the
see
way,
what all the retconning
has
It's been an eternity since I've had the
I
privilege of
agreed to
kicking
help
back
edit
and
the
allowing
movie.
myself to be whisked away with
he's going to be at least
fantastic
one of the
via
editors on the
magic of
project.
the
I'm sure I'll
So even
have my
knowing
hands
was
in it
Spawn,
too.
I couldn't help but be
But I'm
allowed
going to
to
have
see
him
it.
at least take an
Though
initial
there
pass
was
at
no
it.
kicking
If he's
back
still
since I'm sitting on the ground.
in a place where he's got time to do that when we finally have the footage
My
together.
neck popped about a
But
dozen
he is
times, and there
he
wasn't
did
any cut
agree to
for it.
donate his time
James Vince
for
did
that,
send
which
a
is super
refreshment
cool of him.
tape over to
He has edited for me before.
overdue.
He did a
I
couple
doubt I would've
of
liked this movie all that
scripted
much if I hadn't
rewinds
spent 3 months
back
reading
during the
sources. The
2.0
plot is
era
really convoluted.
when I was
The
using
characters are all
footage.
one-dimensional
Or maybe
stereotypes.
he
The
did
villain
stills.
is
I can't remember.
obnoxious
I think maybe it
and
was stills
disgusting.
actually.
Takes
I
up far too
remember
much
he did
screen time.
the
other
CW
villain is
Aquaman
incredibly
pilot.
slow on the uptake, and frankly,
Okay,
so is the
did you
hero.
watch
And what story
the
there
whole
is
movie
just
this
a
way?
loose framework to make giant special
Did I
effects
sit there and watch
scenes
the entire movie?
Yeah.
Is there B-roll of me watching the whole
of you
film?
watching the whole movie?
Yes. I did indeed do it that
Did you
way.
actually?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is Spawn.
So
The
that's
very
how
first
I
thing noticed
did.
is how condensed down
That's how I
the
did this
comics
watch.
and how refreshing that is.
Oh,
A
you
lot
just
of the
did it
mythos
that
was
way.
Yeah, this was my
in the
watch.
book over 60
And I didn't take notes.
Some of
Oh,
it
wow.
is as recent as the
I knew the movie
Watch
pretty
reveal.
well.
That
So yeah, that was my
reveal
watch.
are a holy place is in the movie. Because the movie has so much to get done.
Obviously, if I was to
which
go back and
seems
do
to be
this
the
again,
obvious short.
one of the big changes I would make is you wouldn't have photography of the physical books. It would be digital versions because, like somebody mentioned, those do exist now. There is maybe a charm to that, and I guess it's fun to show off that you have all of it.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of wish I still had all of it. Sometimes, especially because it's become a lot more valuable now, some of it.
That okay? They spent all their money on that opening.
You've always said that. But my problem at the time was that this project burnt me out so hard that I had such a weird relationship with this material that I was worried if I kept the comics I would read them again. And I mean, like now it'd be whatever, but at the time I was really worried about that, and I was like, eh. Ooh, there's some white balance issues.
And his dog, and because it's marketed that way, the whole thing turns out to be less
A Spawn and his dog.
Naderman says, I'm actually the second YouTube channel. He knows it's fundraising for a film, but yours is much further along.
seems to
Oh,
be
cool,
more
but
of a
good
rogue
luck to
and more
whoever
of a
that
typical
is.
tragic superhero origin story where Helen
Bag,
is
no,
necessary
revealing it
device
is
to
part of the
get
fun
hero's
too.
superpowers so he
It's
can
like
stop
being
the
the
big threat
villain
to the whole
revealing your
planet.
master
But while
plan
it's
at the end of
also
the
obvious,
episode.
predictable,
Aha!
and silly,
You had
it
no
also
idea this
leaps and
footage was
bounds more
reversed.
entertaining than the
That's
comic
great.
usually is because it doesn't take itself too seriously. The movie is ridiculous and it's perfectly comfortable with that. Weirdly, all of the
Now, people were
Hollywood
asking
done
me
makes
on the
movie
last
acceptable
stream,
to the
Jason,
general audience.
if
Hell,
I
immensely.
would
Everyone's forced to have clearer motivations
let
because there isn't time
patrons
for all that
see the
pointless
movie early
posturing.
also on
As a
top
winning
of
clown in the league, they have
folks
an honor
donating.
for the gift.
And
Clown
I've
is
been a little
actually
bit back and
someone's
forth on
life
it,
instead of
just
Yeah.
because I wanted to
Bob
make
Bob
sure
reason.
that
And Puglio's
I
fight
was
isn't
coming up
even
with
remotely
enough cool
cryptic.
perks for people
Now,
that
Bulger's
donated
plot
specifically for
manipulate Howard,
this.
giving up his soul is truncated
But
into a simple
I
rhythm
kind of want to do
scheme.
something with the
Spawn promises to
patrons
lead his
for
army
it.
in exchange
Maybe
for
I'll split the
being
middle,
one
and the
man.
patrons
Then
will get
through
it like
Clown,
3 days
Bulgy
early, but
tries
not
to
the
get
full week
Spawn
early or
for
something
real.
like that.
Clown
But
moves
I'll do
into
something
the
for the
Foundation,
patrons
Foundation
probably. I'm just not
convinces
sure
Ben
what
to
that
serve
is
him
yet.
insert a device that'll set off his devastating virus bomb if he dies. The Heat-16, the same
Oh
weapon
my-
Jessica Priest stole in that
Well,
course of the
that's
Spawn. And
that's a
that
little
mission is
explicit there.
actually
Why
referenced,
did you
not
put that
surprising since
in
Alan
the
McElroy
Spawn
wrote
year?
both.
Look,
Spawn
it's
kills
very
Win,
difficult
Bulgy officially
not to
ends his soul
have
for some
either
reason.
like
He
very
also really
violent or
wanted
very
the Heat-16
or like
to go
nearly
off,
sexually
but
explicit
never told
material
why,
when you're
until Khan's
putting in
closing narration,
panels for
when he
Spawn,
refers to
okay?
Malbolge's plans to destroy the Earth. I thought he was grooming a leader for his army against heaven. Clown has Win under his thumb. Win not only has the Heat-16, but we know he's planning to
It's
use
funny,
it
we
to
actually
overthrow all the world's
did a
governments.
commentary on this
He
movie
claims
again
he'll
not that
only
long
kill
ago
everyone who refuses to join him. That's
for
one
the
discriminating virus.
Super Rewind commentary
So why
project.
the 5-year mission to get Al ready, send him back
yeah,
to
you did.
Earth, and dupe him
And
into
Austin and
setting
I
off
did a
bombs
double
already
feature with
gonna
that
go
and
up.
Blade.
Why does Bulgy need Spawn at
Yes.
all?
We did those back to back.
to
And
lead
Blade
his
is
army.
actually like
Okay, I know
pretty
I said this
good.
before, but isn't
It
because
is.
I
Spawn
finally
a better
watched
candidate
it
for that?
when we.
Al
You'll have to
watched
watch
it
Blade
because
2 with me when
she
we finally do
doesn't.
that.
Yeah,
She's
because
totally
Blade
evil and
Blade was
Spawn
actually
kills
like
her.
not
According to
bad.
my official Spawn Year wiki, she was supposed to come back as a
See, I wasn't sure if-
Spawn Year wiki.
That's why
I wasn't sure if this is a great idea.
Never referenced again.
If maybe we
Thing
shouldn't have
is
just,
the movie
you know,
really
chatted with
made
people again
it
tonight instead
In
of
this
instead of
version,
watching this, because I didn't know, you know, how many people would actually come in and watch this with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks, if you're here.
Just have
Yeah.
Win be the sole
Certainly,
killer in this movie. Nice to see him do his own dirty work.
but yeah,
like
you
this
never know.
anyway. And then just don't reference Chapel in the comics again. Problem solved. And the way Al
You and I
Jordan
haven't just
set
sat down
out
and watched
his
this
story.
together before, though, so that's
Clown
fun.
tells
Yeah.
Win he wants Al killed. Then right after that, Al conveniently starts wrestling with his conscience, discovering for the very first time ever that Win's had him killing innocent people.
Nader
Al
Man
tries
shouldn't
to
have
get
been
out of
coy.
these
Oh, you're good, man.
situations
The
when
other
Nick's
channel
used to
producing a
murder him,
film
but he
is
doesn't
called
even
the
need
Small
that because
Beans
he's already
channel.
planning
I've never
to
heard of
do
that.
this,
It
and he
sounds like they're
murders
still in the
people
concept
all the
stage and nothing
time.
has been
I
filmed.
think
We
it
haven't
might
shot
be
anything yet
interesting
either, but I
if
do
Al
have
Jordan
a
secretly
complete
knows he was
script.
killing good people, but
And
ignored
we've
it, but
gotten
wanted to
some
believe it.
planning
If
done.
no one
So I've
tells
got
me it's
lots of
murder,
notes
and
for
I'm just
logistics,
following
and
orders,
we're
it's not
meeting with
fun.
my
Then when he went to hell, he would seem to really deserve it. Seemed like it was
assistant
something to
director
atone
again
for,
on
but also
Tuesday
wouldn't
to
seem
get a
totally
shooting
soulless
schedule
like
for the
Priest.
first
Besides,
at least
you have to
month
know
or
your
two.
boss is a supervillain when his hench chick comes to the office dressed like that every day.
We're gonna
Like in the
start
comic, we're
with
told how ruthless and
some of
stone-cold
Jason's
Al
stuff
is,
so he
but
doesn't
I
get
don't
too
see
old
that on screen.
Yeah.
before we
There's a
shoot
great
it.
flashback where Wanda says
And
he comes
some of
home
the
more dead
easier,
inside
you know, like
after every
inside my
mission,
house
and Wanda
stuff is
calls him a
I'm
borderline
developing my
psychopath.
characters
I
and
see a soldier
bit
who
plural
thinks he's fighting
and
a
getting their
covert
distinct
war
voices
against
down and all of
He's
that.
maybe naive, but not the
Jason's
slightest
working
bit out to
with me
lunch.
real hard on
We
that
don't
stuff
even
right
see
now.
that he likes killing.
Just
He
trying
tries
to
jump ship at the first sign
get
of
the right
moral
voice,
ambiguity.
the right
Really wants
voices,
Spawn
and
to
get
be our
comfortable with it.
superhero, and if
Figure out
you're
what the
not willing
attitude
to
of
let him really be bad
Which
enough
one
to
is?
be
certain of
chosen
them
by
are,
God
yeah.
in the first place. What completely blindsided me is that the
Jason
movie
is a
gets
better
the most
actor than I am.
important thing right. Spawn
I wish I
is
gave him more to do in the movie.
generally likable. It still takes a kid and a dog, but not being physically ripped apart the whole time. He does have that blind thirst for revenge against Win, and nearly kills him at the end, knowing he'll set off the
That was
virus,
Clown.
and he doesn't care because he thinks Wanda
Yeah.
is dead. By the way, Clown
I'm
should
kinda
have
glad that I
killed Wanda. That would have made a
don't
great
ever
video
have to
of
talk
some
about this movie again if I don't want
character.
to.
But that
I mean,
just
the
seems out of
Spawn movie,
character.
not my
Again,
movie.
we're told he's
Yeah.
capable of enormous evil, but he never previously seems to have that.
There's
in him.
also some
This
bittersweet
Spawn
stuff about
learns
like I don't actually go
to
back to
nearly
Spawn
kill
here.
Zack's
Yeah.
father for beating him in the alley, then realizes how much worse
Frequently.
he'd be making
Like
life
I'm very
for
proud
them,
of it.
and he
I know I
never
still
does
talk about it a
anything
lot
like that
because it was
before.
a
In the
you know it
last
was 2
scene,
years of my
he
life.
sees how he'd be
It was
wrecking
a
the
big
family
project that
pursuing
we were working on
one
all the
social
time.
mystery and one alone.
But there's
And
bittersweet
he even
stuff
has more
like
personality than
you know
the
when we
others.
get to the end we'll hear
He takes a
the
little
song
joy
that Tim
in pride in
Lyons
learning
wrote
about his
and
powers.
performed
And he's not embracing
for the
evil,
show and
just
he
enjoying
passed away
what
6 years
little
ago.
there is to enjoy about about his
And just stuff kind of weird about going back to
I like it when
this.
he calls Cog Yoda. And while he's too easily manipulated by clowns,
This is
he
also a
feels
long
weird.
review.
Clowns
It
aren't exactly
is.
subtle about his
Why am I
double
still
crossing.
talking?
His revenge motive at least keeps him calamity. He has to learn to turn his
because
energies
you
to
were
something
trying
more
to-
productive by the end.
this is
Unfortunately, we'd need another
pretty
movie to see
much
just what that would be. But at least he
the
doesn't mope
superhero
around
rewind
in an
for this
alley all
movie.
movie.
It
and
really
fight
So
is.
like it's like the
monsters
second
that
one.
show up.
So
I
like
that
you were
he
trying
only
to,
uses
you know.
guns when he couldn't possibly know
Well, and
what
this
his
was in a
powers
period
are,
where I
and
started
once he learns, he puts the
making
guns
those a
away.
lot more
He's still
thorough.
too powerful. We're told he'll die if he drains his powers or if his head gets cut off. But when Clown
So I
dies
probably
at the
did
end,
this
he
like a
goes
year
back
or
to
two
hell,
after
so we don't really know
Batman
what the
Begins,
stakes
which
are.
was the
If he went
first,
back to hell,
you know,
he
nearly
could
half
get
hour
sent right back,
rewind.
and he electrocutes
And then after they
villages
could,
and
at that point, it was like, oh my god, they're so
turns
long. And then after that,
without
they tended to be
dying.
quite a bit
How
longer.
lazy is that in your third act? Bulgy, bring me his head. Spawn, well.
And now I got 6 kids, and the best I can do is commentaries. But
Yeah.
I'm still kicking around, coming back and writing another one. I
I
know what I want to do. It's just putting,
you
you know, those to the grindstone and making myself do it.
So it's hard to appreciate Al's
And putting everything else on hold, you
So
know?
then,
Yeah.
just like the comic, Clown says very little that makes me laugh, but he's right off the page. John Leguizamo really sells it, and he's obviously having a good time. In fact,
Yeah,
the
because
whole
he doesn't
cast
really make
is
me laugh a lot in the
melodramatic,
comic. Although more so than
surreal,
in the
it's kind
film.
of fun.
Yeah.
Some of
Certainly.
the effects don't
Well,
hold
and
up well,
that guy-
particularly the bad
Well,
color
and like
matching
that
highly
actor
repelled
usually just
me.
doesn't really make
But I
me
love the
laugh.
landscape of hell itself.
So,
The
you
costume
know,
looks believable.
that
And
character
CG
and
Kate,
that
when we do
actor,
see
you
it,
know, you
is
put them
gigantic
together
and
and they're
really
great, but
pretty.
separate.
The comics are stretching to an absurd degree, a premise that doesn't feel designed for an ongoing comic with no.
Well, we've got a few more folks that have popped in. If you're just joining us, Jason and I, along with some other magnanimous folks we know, are making a movie. It's the Superhero Rewind movie. It's a time travel movie. It's a movie about superhero movies and about reviewing superhero movies, and in and of itself, it is a superhero movie.
What?
It's a triple entendre
Well, he's on
title.
top of the TV.
Wait, I have to watch it again?
We have raised $900 for the project so far. We're gonna make the thing no matter what the budget ends up actually being. But if you'd like to help support the movie and up our production value and help us, especially, I meant to say this earlier, like stuff we're gonna use the money for. Props is a big thing. We should be able to buy most of what we need now, prop-wise. But we want to do some vehicle rental. We may want to rent some equipment. We may want to get like better cameras. Then I've got access to. We're gonna need a boom mic. We're gonna need
Captain Logan.
teleprompter. There's all there's all kinds of stuff.
250 of Spawn year.
And if you want to help us out, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount.
It's me.
$5, get your name in the credits as a supporter. $10, you can see the film a week early. $20, you get to hang out with me and Jason and a lot of the crew a day earlier than the early drop date and do a Q&A with us after that, watching the film. $35 PDF of the rough and final draft. $50 your YouTube username in scene, or you get to suggest a terrible fake future superhero movie and that name will appear in the film, and $75 or more a printed script signed by me and the crew with this really cool title poster print by Tyler Overall. No, not that one, this one. The other one is Spawn Year, and we're going to give at least one of those away tonight. I was going to do 2, but if we only have...
Having read several of Terry Fitzgerald's blah blah blah.
I'm thinking, Jason, if we only have 3 super chats tonight, we'll probably just give one away.
1999 by Capcom.
Yeah.
I knew precisely
Don't you think?
what I'd be reviewing today.
That's probably
I
the way to do
wasn't
that.
certain I'd ever critique a
So I still have the Dreamcast game. It's a lot of fun, and I still have, of course, the Dreamcast that I bought for this episode that you'll see at the end. It is a custom Spawn Dreamcast, and I pretend like I created it out of thin air.
Well, and you also have the Dreamcast at the beginning too.
and I'm not sure even
Oh, have we already seen it?
Yeah.
that end,
Yeah.
learning
Well,
and
not the
practicing
Spawn
this
Dreamcast, but the normal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I have both of those Dreamcasts still, yeah.
We still have that controller, and I play it a lot. I play with specifically that one, that blue one.
But that game has become more valuable. I had a copy and lost it before I shot this, and I had to get another copy of it. And I don't know what I paid for it, but it certainly wasn't anywhere close to what it is now, because that is $100 game or better now.
an embarrassing hole.
At the time, I think I had to drop maybe 30
I
to get
was
it back.
determined to get as good as possible at this game
So,
before he returned. Nothing
I have
makes
a
me
question.
feel more like
At the end of the last one that we watched,
Yeah.
for the movie, do you remember when, like, oh my gosh, this theme song. Do you remember when Doomsday
It's so hardcore.
like tells you to watch the movie again?
There's a TV
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you write that in the?
that makes Spawn look
Did you write that part actually in the notebook?
Yeah, I mean, anything I say out loud is in the notebook, except for the occasional point where I would ad-lib something and pretend like it was in the notebook, but that was kind of the oh Henry ending of that episode, was like, oh, and then I got to write it again, oh no, like, no, I would have written that.
High art or deep philosophy. This is
Why, Jazz, did that come off like...
It didn't come off like it was.
says,
It would have
"What
been
does it
weird
say?"
to be written in.
angels with no clothes on.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did. I'm pretty sure.
Cyborg gorillas, cyborg hitmen, an old guy in a sombrero.
This was
An old guy in a sombrero.
the easiest episode to write.
Death metal band
Yeah.
ever. How about
I mean, of the bigger shows.
not take ourselves too seriously? The edgy but hilarious.
There's a lot of fun material, both to praise and make fun of with this. I mean, one of the funniest things about this game, and I talk about this a lot in the review, is just the stuff that, like, didn't show up in the comics at all, and I didn't know where it came from.
Die, but it is not the end.
A lot of, like,
you
who's
got
that
your
guy?
torso brutally ripped off, but just pick yourself up and start violently.
Yes, Brightburns, I was aware that the Dreamcast is
Several
not
seconds
region locked.
left. You can do it. All these sorts of games.
You
have
can do it.
Spawn.
You can
See
do
what
it.
I did there?
Yeah, this is
Repeated
my
that until the
this is my
match
favorite
done.
episode.
But this one's based on source material.
I think
that
it's still
provides a
mine,
story
too.
explanation. Heaven and hell can reconstitute anybody. They
Especially
want.
since I just
The
like
game
this
is
game.
simple and straightforward.
So-
Pick your character, get tossed in an arena, kill
Like, it's
as many
not that
players and
good,
die as
but-
infrequently as possible.
Okay,
Pick up
I have
It's a lot of fun. You just wish there was a second stick is all, right? Like when,
Yeah.
when you're playing it.
Did
I
you
like that it's
read
not just a
or
point
did you
program.
like?
As far as I can gather, you get more points based on how much.
Did
of
you
the game
actually
is yours, and on the
play the
brutality
game?
scale. You score anywhere from 1 to 4 points.
And-
Each
On the
you
set?
take out.
Like,
Your doc-
yeah, well, and also like, is this footage yours?
This is all my footage. Well, and you can tell because it's shot right on the TV. Because and I did that with all of this stuff because I didn't have a good capture card at the time, and it was a little bit more accepted at that point to do it that way. Now everybody would roll their eyes at you and complain because everybody's got a capture card. But I liked,
Happily, the game avoids
shooting the TV on the set and like showing, like I did with the movie and stuff. And showing me or Captain Spawn watching it. But if I did this again, I would shoot that footage where you saw the TV, but then when you zoomed in on it, that would be capture footage.
Yeah.
And that's
5 or 10 environments.
another thing that makes it kind of hard to go back to this now. But
Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
And these stage names aren't especially.
It's all. That's also every
Wasteland, Path
thing
to
from like
Wasteland.
2014.
Oh, is that
that has to do
hell?
with video
Is this
games.
Another video game we have to avoid the word hell.
That's
No,
true.
The main hell level is called unknown. That's not.
Oh, you know what? I
unknown.
think we're cutting-
Hell.
I just
The game is
realized
rated
something. I think we're
mature,
cutting
but
off
it's
the top of
really
the screen here. Look at
immature.
that.
Or maybe I've just read so much Spawn.
I didn't even
now,
realize
I'm
that.
desensitized
Oops.
to all this blood and
We
decapitation.
drop this.
Not only is it avoiding the
I am
word
so
hell,
professional.
except for when you become
There we
like
go.
Hellspawn. But nobody swears.
Fixed
as far
it.
as I've heard, and you have to turn up the violence level if you want to see red.
Who's
blood.
Hellspawn?
On the lowest setting, everybody bleeds green, which I guess is somehow less violent and more kid-friendly. I didn't even realize you could change that until just before I began this entry, and thought it was weird that no matter what sort of being you are, you bleed green.
Wait.
Once you turn up the difficulty, you find the game designers
You don't
have
remember
impressively
anything about
faithful to the source
Spawn.
material. On the highest violence level, creatures from hell still bleed necroplasm.
What do you mean?
While everybody else
You're like,
bleeds
oh, I
red.
didn't realize that
Each
until I
example of all the various abilities these
started
different
reading
characters have
or
in
like
common,
started
which
writing
does
this
cause some
entry.
imbalance, particularly
Are you-
when pitting characters with ranged weapons against
Are you
characters
just
with
talking
only
about
melee
the
weapons.
time that you've
But
played
really,
it before
characters
you
like
wrote
Sam and
in
Twitch
the
shouldn't
entry,
be
or are
used
you
as
just
bad
saying
going
that
up against you.
That's
you've
a great
played this
question.
before?
I don't. That's a great question. I
Because
don't
no,
know.
you haven't. Like,
No,
you
no,
have,
you're
but you
no,
don't
you're right.
remember it.
You're right. That's a mistake. That's maybe a mistake.
I've never thought about it.
Because yeah, the conceit at the beginning is my memory has been erased of all of Spawn.
Yeah.
It can be a really awkward mechanic.
And you would assume that this game would be part of that. So this game is based on
This is like
some other game. Like it's one of those things I think where it's like there's another engine and it just lifts that but changes everything and makes it spawn.
Like the Quake engine.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be an arcade game, and I think it's based on something that in Japan was maybe in arcades.
It looks like an arcade game.
That would have been the coolest thing. Like if there was actually a Spawn arcade game that was this game, that'd be awesome.
And Tremor's special move is that springy arm thing, which is surprisingly effective. It's disappointing that Spawn only fires guns, but there are other...
It's really funny, because I think his action figure does that too, maybe.
Dark Ages Spawn, though he looks more like medieval Spawn. But I guess McFarlane lost the rights to him by this point, along with Angela, so that's a bit...
So I'm so excited. I mentioned this on the Captain Logan show the other day, but I'm so excited about the
initial character
Todd McFarlane figure that they're putting out.
Yes.
It's McFarlane and
why not include a Spawn with a chain attack?
it's McFarlane like interviewing Spawn. He's got like a microphone.
Yeah, it's like a cosplayer Spawn.
It looks like a cosplayer, but it looks like the costume is like an early prototype version of Spawn.
But Twitch naturally is 3 times more useful. He's fast, hard to see, and has powerful guns. Sam is hilarious. He has a rocket launcher to make up for his lumbering, slow pace, and it takes him forever to get anywhere. But seeing him run twice normal speed when you get the speed up power up...
I'll tell you, I'm a little bit curious about some of the more recent Spawn material.
Yeah.
And I assume none of it's all that great, but there's a ton of it now because it suddenly, for some reason, got popular again around 300. You know, Spawn with his big, or McFarlane with his big landmark issues. But like
that move requires pressing right, left, and B simultaneously.
The book started selling a lot better.
They're your faster, huge...
Okay,
like,
how the heck did
significantly
you
better.
use the buttons? Like,
I certainly couldn't actually play it that way, though.
It's a little hard to aim the fire, and you're only Violator for about 30 seconds at a time. I guess Clown isn't...
Those gloves fell apart after a while. And if memory serves, I think I had to get Pierce to make me another pair.
oh wow.
And while some characters are naturally too redundant, it doesn't skimp out on having the most unique of them perform their signature move.
Yeah, we should get this
It's
game
also
out.
fun that Clown's name changes to Violator on the score.
I'm with you. This is a thing that would be fun to do on a live stream.
You also get Jessica Priest at the start, another shooter.
Is that what you were talking about
I don't know
earlier?
Why she's dressed like a cop, and I'm a little surprised not to see Jason
What's
win
that?
anyway.
That you wish we could live stream this game?
Yeah,
I think that would be a lot of fun.
129 issues of Spawn,
Yeah,
all
that
of
would be
Sam
great.
and Twitch, all of
You know,
Spawn
Spawn would be
shy
good
of
for a
dozen minis in one
painted
shot.
miniatures
Who the
game.
heck is Brimstone? He looks like a guy
Who is Brimstone? I never figured out who this guy is.
Before. We've got the entire cast of the Violator mini. Yeah, all 4 Flabiac brothers. Violator,
All the
Vindicator,
Flabiac
Vacillator,
brothers.
Vaporizer. And boy, does
Vaseline
he
ER.
That
And
stuff
boy,
is
does he
brutal. I wonder if
vaporize.
they have a cousin
Yeah.
called Moisturizer who just sprays deadly lotion all over you. Or a Vacuuminator who just sucks you into himself. Oh wait, that's something else. Vacuuminator is one of my old YouTube subscribers. Wonder how that guy's doing. Even the Admonisher is here. Which is weird, because it doesn't say
Vacuuminator
anything.
has been to my house, my
He
old house.
has. Really.
Yeah, and he was at Power Morphicon the year we went to Morphicon.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Brightburn's any of the behind the scenes crew working on the new film. Yeah, so Brandon is going to be in the movie and also behind the camera some. He shot some stuff for us with this. He also shot a lot of the documentary with me and went on that trip. So yeah, he's definitely going to be with us. He and I have always worked really well together. And then Pierce is doing... Oh, me. I'll be there,
And
yeah.
me.
And Jason. But Jason will be a lot more involved because he's not 3. And
And I mean, I
because
was somewhat involved in this, but like,
you were,
involved.
but you're actually doing some like story lifting and stuff with this. Because Jason helped me break the initial story
Yes.
with this. The third act changed a lot from what we originally talked
yeah,
about.
the third act was originally, I think,
Because I let the characters drive the story, so stuff changes.
yeah, I think I came up with the original third act, and you were like, yeah, I think this is better, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely better.
Well, when I got there, it just went a different way, and so I had to talk to you about it because I would have changed it if we'd had enough of a dispute, but it worked out. But anyway, and then Jason's gonna be there for most of the shooting, and
how is a game ported from an arcade system with joysticks to a
you'll have
home
lots to do, I'm
console with
sure.
an analog stick, and you can't use it? If there's one kind of game you want to be,
it's gonna be kind of all hands on deck. So we're not gonna have like real specific roles for everybody. It's gonna be a lot more guerrilla style than that. So like I said, I've got a guy working with us that I'm calling, and he did not work on Spawn Year. He's actually an old fan of the channel who happens to live locally. Got involved kind of like Pierce, really.
Yeah, maybe you're only a torso with
But anyway, so I keep calling him like my assistant director. He's just gonna do, you know, things that I need help with that I don't know how to do by myself, and he's helping us get. He's involved in local theater. He's helping us get like locations and helping us find people to work on the movie that have expertises that I don't have. That's Chris Cole. But anyway, so Pierce is doing costume work like he did with Spawn Year. He's making at least a mask for the project, if not other stuff. Tom, how hard was it to play the game with those gloves? I mean, I didn't. I just pretended to. Like an AVGN episode.
Oh god,
yeah.
not the mannequins. But now
well, you don't know that.
But it's nice in a game like this to have one major target.
The Super Nintendo game review is still fun too. But
you didn't, man.
Bright did not. Brightburns, is Sarah gonna make a cameo or be mentioned in the film?
I don't.
You have to choose two
Want
computer
to
players.
tell anyone?
Should we not mention that?
Yeah, I don't want to mention if she is or not.
But then that's gonna make everybody go, well, obviously she is.
Well, I don't want to keep anyone's hopes up. Like,
well, I think it's fair enough to say. I mean, certainly she'll be mentioned at the very least.
yeah, at the very least.
It would be kind of weird to make a movie about Captain Logan
and not have.
and his wife never comes up.
Right.
You mentioned to me off camera earlier that you found the Tiny Adam West mask and tried to put it on.
I tried to put it on. For some reason, the band actually got, like, longer for some reason. I don't really know. I couldn't fit it.
Stretched?
It got stretched, so I couldn't fit it. Like, it would just, like, fall off.
So what sucks is that mask came from Party City. It was like $2 or $3 when I bought it. And they had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I could have just bought a stack of them.
You could
if I'd known that I was buying it for this. But I didn't buy it for this. I just bought it because you had a Batman-themed party. And then I happened to have it, so I used it in this show.
Yeah, but, like, the thing
and when I went back, they didn't have it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
They got them back in, I think, later, but, like...
We never bought it anymore. We should
never
have.
bought it anymore.
I have the one that Pierce made based on it with the devil horns. I still don't know why he made that, but
for
we used
5
it for
seconds.
5 seconds,
and it's in the movie.
Shot. It is. You'll see it here. Yep, you'll see it tonight.
Like an hour.
No, admittedly, this is not the easy, like the best paced, easiest to watch in one sitting kind of thing because it wasn't made to be a movie.
In the end,
we use the word movie very loosely.
I won by a hair, 19 to 18. Tiny Adam West was delighted at my progress, and he produced a 2-liter.
Bob Garland, if there's a sequel, it should be a riff on Smallville with Jason as Clark.
Is to pour Mountain Dew over.
That's a notion.
It can't be done with
That's a notion.
natural powers. I downed the rest of the bottle.
I thought it was. I always thought it would be funny
and felt my
if
power levels max out. I was stronger
your
than I'd
power
ever
levels max out.
Before
That's
he
great.
left, Tiny Adam West reminded me to continue practicing.
I
my
always
fighting
thought
strategy with this game.
it would be
He also
great if we
suggested
did
that
like
now
a
might be
Disney
a good
Plus
time
type
to
show
work my
with Tiny Adam West,
stretch my
like all
powers
grown
and
up.
see
That
what
would be
else I
really
can
fun.
And now, dear reader,
Yeah, I've always wanted to do something else with Tiny Adam West. He was supposed to appear in Batman Year. And we just never finished it. I started making this
There it
point. Here comes the Spawn Dreamcast.
It is.
This was such a fun thing to get to do.
Yeah.
It actually looks really cool too.
And it looks really cool in person too.
But like we did a good job with the placement of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually really proud of the shot. The Dreamcast controllers are so dumb with where the controller cord comes out of.
I think I could tell that Brandon was behind the camera here.
Did you see his reflection?
No, but I know how he uses a camera. I think that's Brandon behind the camera.
I'm pretty sure I shot all that by myself.
No, but like there's maybe it was Mom.
This is day 300 of Spawn.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There was some hand cam stuff.
I didn't think I had Brandon on set for that show. And if I was doing handy cam, it's much more likely that your mom was in costume.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So keep in mind that part of the time it's actually my wife. It's actually Sarah in the Swan costume. And at this point, I can't tell when it's me and when it's her.
Yeah.
She learned to move enough like me that I can't tell.
Yeah.
When we first started shooting, I had to teach her how to be less effeminate and dainty in the costume, because just the way she would move, it was too effeminate.
Yeah.
She got it very quickly, though.
Yeah.
I'll
be right back.
And she, okay, cool. She probably did 30 or 40 shows.
Yeah, and
in the outfit.
I know she did some of the epilogue too. Like she did some of the stuff in part 2.
Particularly at the comic book shop.
Yeah.
We had her in costume.
Did okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did she
Although after so many Spawn
when it and we'll get to that part. But when you get handcuffed and then you turn into Spawn, is that you? Or is that Mom?
That's your mom. So I get handcuffed and then we have her off camera suiting up.
Okay.
And then we bring her on so that we can do a real quick switch.
Okay.
So that we can make that as seamless as possible. Made it a lot easier for us to be in the same position.
Yeah.
That's the main place where she's in that suit.
Yeah, she's in that. I remember because
Well, I say
I
that.
was on set for that.
I
think.
say that. We actually, I'm not sure if you were there or not.
I think I was there.
But
Yeah, because I mean I was there for the run-in and stuff.
now that I'm thinking about it, it must have been her in the swan suit actually the whole time at the comic shop.
Really? Were you never in it?
Well, I don't know why we would have. I mean, it would have taken too long.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would have switched out. I would have just had her do all that.
Wow, that's actually kind of crazy.
Well, keep in mind, the swan suit's not used for all that much of that. I mean, a lot more of it is me out of costume,
Right.
like at the desk and arguing with the cop and who was Pierce. Pierce is actually a real life cop, so I wrote him as a cop in the movie. So he's actually, when you see him at the end, he's in his real outfit, and he pulls a real gun on me.
Is that a real gun?
It's a real
That's
gun,
crazy.
yeah. It's obviously not loaded, but yeah. We just got a $75 donation from Side-Scrolling Hero 16. Thank you so much. Why am I not gonging
Gone.
donations? We gotta gong them. Thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
You have been.
Oh, I did one big collective gong. Did I gong all the
Yeah.
all the super chats?
I
I've
think-
gotten so used to gonging on the Captain Logan show. Okay, so Side-Scrolling Hero. Let me get him typed in. before I-
Side-scrolling hero.
Was that a reference to Foreigner?
Yes.
$75. So he is gonna be at the top tier, and he'll get all the perks.
Whoa.
He'll get the printed script
Good job.
with the poster print and everything.
Wanda.
What a guy! Spectacular. Yeah, and that's actual Wanda.
What the
That's
heck?
Todd McFarlane's wife. He says, "Love you guys. We love you too." And everyone on the shows throughout the years. And thanks to him for watching and for other comments on live shows. He's been with us a long time. I know I always ask, but now I am requesting Jason to watch Kamen Rider Kyuga on Shout Factory. I hope he'll love it. It's a Toku classic. You guys have entertained me for years. Thank you.
Okay, I will. I mean,
You know what? With a $75 donation for the movie, I don't want to set too much of a precedent for this, but like, I don't know if he really wants that. Maybe you should think about watching it. Maybe we should do like a special, I don't know, request or something. What do you think?
with like you and me.
Or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I mean, he did
I've
throw
wanted to
$75 at us
watch-
for the movie.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch more stuff like that. I've been watching way too much Godzilla.
So what I'm going to say is we're not going to full on promise it because it's not an official request, but we're going to write it down and we'll try. Should we say it like that?
Yeah. I
That way
will- I
everybody
will at
doesn't
least
feel.
watch it.
That way everybody doesn't feel entitled to a request on top of these every time. Because if we offer that, we're gonna have way too many requests on the list because we're already. There's already a. I don't mean to say we're behind because we're pretty on track with those, but I mean there's a 4-month wait or better, 4 or 5 month wait. Common writer Kuga with 2 U's. Let me just write this down somewhere.
How his success and fame have changed him, and he describes it almost like a necessary evil. He wanted to
Hold
produce
on.
art. That takes capital, and if you're
Common
really good at it,
writer.
you can get a lot of capital, and it's hard not to become what you used to fight against in order to get that necessary thing to facilitate your art. Is that a cop-out? Is that cynical?
Okay, Jason, you said you need to take a break, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you in a minute.
What's compelling?
He says, no problem, I just hope you guys enjoy the show. Yeah, we'll try to check it out, man.
In the pride he takes in still seeing himself as a blue-collar guy, and how he doesn't dress like the upper crust, and how he
So I still have the Spawn suit. I have not put it on since the last shot of the show and of the movie. So when you get to the end of this, you'll actually see behind the scenes footage of me taking it off, and that's the last time I wore it. We pulled part of it out of the box. Like I said, I still have it on the last fundraising stream, and that really smelled because of the latex. So I'll never wear it again, almost certainly. But I've held on to it. I would like to air it out and maybe at some point try to put it on a mannequin or something. And like I said earlier, Jason and I are talking about... I've got a spot that I've carved out now where I might be able to put in a glass case and put all the Spawn Year props and maybe even get a mannequin worked in or something. With at least the mask, if nothing else. James Egan, how can I make a request? Patreon.com/geekvolution. The 15... Todd McFarlane, sorry, has the best... My wife and I were just talking about this the other day. Signature of any celebrity of all time. I love his city. And he's my favorite artist. I've always said that. My favorite artist, least favorite writer. He's got the best signature. Capullo's is really good too, though. I forgot what his looked like until we were looking at it just now. Anyway, he's... so yeah, $15 tier on Patreon. You'll get added to the list. If you stay at that tier, you stay in the rotation. If you stay in for at least 1 month, you'll definitely get your requested movie or comic or TV show, TV pilot talked about when we get there. So it'll stay in on the list in the queue. And the $30 tier now, you can request a movie for the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project, or a regular request kind of thing that's not superhero. We'll do a commentary on a Wednesday instead of a review. We're offering that now as well. Side-scrolling hero, his signature is very much like his style. Yeah, exactly. I've got the big hardcover. I haven't looked at it enough. I need to go back to that. But I've got the big hardcover kind of coffee table book, The Art of Todd McFarlane. That is a really neat book. And I feel a little bit better about not having the Spawn collection, you know, having that book and still having some of his really great artwork. I also have the first volume of the Spawn, what are they calling those? Compendiums, kind of like the Walking Dead compendiums. So I think it's 50 issues, but it doesn't include any of the covers, which sucks. The only issue I have with that, it's a wonderful volume. And I'll probably get the rest of them. Eric gave me that a couple years ago. By the way, people are still asking me if Eric is going to be in the movie. Eric is doing his own thing now. I don't hear from him a whole lot these days. If he wanted to, I did mention to him that we're making the movie, but I haven't heard back. He's just kind of busy doing his own thing. So if he wanted to be in the movie, I would work in some kind of a cameo for him. But I don't think he does. He lives a little farther away now. He's not wanting to be public. He's working on his own writing. I don't think he would have any interest in it, honestly, but I would figure out a way to work it in if he wanted to. So that's all I'm going to say about that. People are asking me about Eric all the time, and we just don't see each other these days.
he ignored when he should have.
Side-scrolling hero, has Todd McFarlane ever... And not that we've had any kind of a falling out or anything, but we're just both very busy these days with our own stuff. Has Todd McFarlane ever approached you or mentioned anything about Spawn Year across his social media? No, he hasn't. And I've always wondered if he knows about it, and what he would think of it if he saw any of it. Because obviously I'm super critical of this material, but I also give it its due when I think it's great and it's deserving of it, and I have lots of complimentary things to say about designs and artwork and production value, and I would go as far as to say that if you watch just this episode where I'm talking about this documentary and my kind of love-hate relationship with, his material and the way that I, admire him and I'm also frustrated with him, I kind of feel like, and I don't know, it's not like I know the man personally, obviously, but I kind of think he might appreciate it. I kind of think he might get where I'm coming from with some of it. I mean, he is one of those guys that's both egotistical and very, I don't know if I want to say self-deprecating, but he knows his own issues. He doesn't pretend like he's perfect either.
I like that so much of the negative aspects of McFarlane's personality come out here because I'm better able.
Side-scrolling hero says there's no way he doesn't. I mean, it's not like Spawn Year was super popular. I don't know how you could go on YouTube and look up Spawn stuff and not have it pop up occasionally.
And even agree with a lot of what he has to say.
But the highest viewed video in Spawn Year is what, 15,000, 20,000 views? It's not huge, and it certainly at this point would be eclipsed by a lot of other things. Like AVGN did a Spawn video, for the video games. That's got 4 million views. So there's a lot of things that would show up now before Spawn Year would. But back at the time, you'd think he would have found out about it. I know, who was it? I don't think it was Kyle Higgins. I can't remember. There was a comic writer that briefly was working on the main Spawn title, or was supposed to, and I think left kind of quickly. This would have been a few years ago. Who, one of our viewers, or I can't remember who it was, maybe even somebody I worked with, I can't remember. Somebody sent him a tweet about Spawn Year, and he actually looked at some of it and liked it. And I think whoever told him about it was trying to get him to pass it on to McFarlane. And I think maybe he did. I'm not sure. So, yeah. Surely Todd McFarlane has heard of Spawn Year.
On December 31st, 2012,
I've always been a little bit scared to know if he's aware of it and what he would say about it.
My greatest vice finally caught up to me, and
but I've also always said that if I could hang out for a day or go to dinner with any comic writer or even celebrity, it's probably Todd McFarlane. I think it would just be fascinating.
In a purgatory of my own making, or I could pay for
and of the comic writers and artists that you'd have to stand in line at a convention for hours and hours to see, he's the one I would do it for. As much as I'd love to meet Kevin Eastman, who's going to be at Planet Comic-Con in a couple weeks when I go, I'm not going to stand in his line forever to meet him. I have his signature, too. I just haven't met him. But I don't think it would be worth, the admission and the whole day if I'm only going to a con for one day. Todd McFarlane, I would do that for. And I think some of that is just because, I admire his artwork a lot, of course, and I find him a fascinating personality, but also, I devoted so much of my time for 2 years to his material. I feel weirdly, connected to him in that way. Not to get weird about it, but yeah, I would do that.
At the end of what Doozman's called Spawn Year. If I failed to finish even one entry, I would be.
Yeah, Tom, I'm not gonna cast somebody else's earring.
There was, of course, no choice at all.
That's a funny idea, but I wouldn't do that.
Challenge, unaware of just how treacherous, twisted, and mind-bogglingly.
Okay, so we've had 4 donations so far tonight, and 3 of them pretty hefty.
And each day I diligently.
And at the end of the show, just want to remind everybody, I am going to do a giveaway for the 10th anniversary Spawn Year poster. So those will be like 8.5 by 11s. And if we get at least 10 donations tonight, and I don't know if we'll get to that, in whatever the dollar amounts are, I will go ahead and give away 2. But since we're only at 4 right now, I'll probably just give away 1. I think I might change my mind about that and give away 2 anyway. And then half of the people that have donated so far will get 1. But then, you know what? Never mind. I said 2 at the beginning. I'll stick to that. We'll do 2. We'll still give away 2. I just thought it would be kind of weird to give away 2 and then 1 person is left out, but we've got 4 now. Yeah, no, I'll do the 2 I said in the first place. James Egan is Austin in the movie. Also, Austin should be in this stream. Yeah, I thought about inviting him. I've got him doing so much stuff on the channel all the time. That I was like, well, he was on the last one. I didn't want this to be a big panel. And obviously he would have been welcome if he wanted to come in. I think he's kind of busy this weekend, too. I haven't heard from him a lot the last couple days. We talk all the time. So, anyway, this is probably why I didn't invite him. But also, it's easier to do this since we're watching the movie, you know, streaming it directly into OBS. Kind of easier to just do this, you know, on location, in person, and not have somebody remotely. All of this was really fun to shoot. And all that stuff in the kitchen I shot super late at night. People like to call that green face, like I'm racist.
Oh god.
That comes up sometimes. Wow, I bought a lot of Mountain Dews for that. We did a couple things in Spawn Year. Yeah, there's Jason.
Kind of.
What do you mean? That was you.
Well, I mean, it was me, but it was like a clone of it.
Well, not a clone, but like a, you know, fake in my mind version.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I think some of the most fun stuff to shoot was that kitchen stuff. Oh, I was gonna say we did some 1 or 2 Photoshop shots in Spawn Year where I had a lot of Mountain Dews or something else, where I just copied and pasted. But I think the shot in the fridge was all real. This is where DMV comes from.
DMV. The Department of Motor Vehicles. Is that was that actually the joke?
That was the joke, yeah.
Because it's the DMV. Oh,
I cracked Vince up so hard when I first threw that at him. I was like, hey, Vince, Dooms Vince has initials. And he was like, well, it's one word. I was like, yeah, it's DMV. And he just lost it. The shots, and I did a shocking number of them, but the shots in Spawn Year where I'm on pitch black and I've got a flashlight.
You made way too many of those.
The way I did that is I got a black blanket and I put it up on this PVC pipe rig that Tim Lyons built for me at one point. We had a backdrop for the old comic book late night show. That's what that was for.
Oh.
We did some green screen effects and stuff with that too, but I put black over that, and then I just shot in the dark, and I just pantomimed walking and running. I don't know if you can tell I'm in one place.
I
think I did an okay job, like walking in places and making it look like I was actually moving. It might have looked even better if I could have done it on a treadmill. I'm also pretty happy with how that turned out.
And Vince did a good job with that.
Yeah, with the clone zombies.
Yeah.
That whole thing was really fun.
I had never really given Dooms Vince's motivations.
Oh,
this music always cracks me up.
This music is amazing.
And that's another Kevin MacLeod track.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really young Dan Torrey, too.
That's a very young Dan Torrey.
So we always said that Dan Torrey co-created Spawn Year because it came from it was a joke that came from a conversation that he and I had. I always put his name first just because I think it's funny. Dan has nothing to do with Spawn Year except he shot some stuff for the finale and one scene earlier that you just saw there, and he made up a joke that I turned into this whole series.
In short, this Vince was a pretentious snob who looked down.
Some
Wow,
of these T-shirts I still have, and some of them I
This
don't.
T-shirt. Yeah, I was about to say.
I love that shirt. That shirt came from
and I abandoned the whole venture.
a flea market in Arkansas years and years ago.
Oh, I think I know where that is.
It was
That's in my old basement.
That was in the like the
The
storage.
supervillain evaluation was so much fun to write.
Yes.
And I found that at one point. I still have that somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. We made so many fun props and stuff for this show, man. James Egan says he's reading through Jonathan Hickman's FF and Avengers. It's really good. Yeah, I mean, what I've read of that stuff is great. I haven't read much of his Avengers, but I read the majority of his FF. And then he said House of X, Powers of X. It's awesome. But I haven't read any of the X-Men stuff after that yet. It got too overwhelming.
And then the most disturbing of all, Chipmunk Jason.
Oh, Chipmunk Jason Wynn. And then I just kept building and building to the suicide issue, which I parallel with a scene where one of the characters I'm also playing tries to get me to commit suicide.
These subtitles suck.
Well, that's all right. They're funny.
Reality didn't shatter around me. The curtain never rose.
So sometimes you would get these cool lighting effects where there'd be light like streaming down.
Yeah.
And none of that was ever intentional. I just leaned into it when it happened.
Yeah, like look at that. That's awesome.
It's really cool. Do you know why that would happen?
You did have a window, right?
There's a window right up here, and if I shot during the day, sometimes we'd get light streaming in through it. And like it looks like I did it on purpose. But then it's not like that all the time. And I'm usually shooting real late at night.
All I knew was that my mind was slipping.
Wow, that hair. Wow.
And then I just went crazy with the light filters. With like the bright red and the bright green. And I'm actually making some mental notes right now with some of the stuff we did on Spawn Year of things that I'd like to repeat or call back to, maybe visually, when we make the movie.
You should try to see if you could put in a shot where you're doing that like knife to your throat.
Yeah.
Or like
I wish I still had that knife, the Natog knife.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Broke. Jason broke it.
I broke it. I left it out in the rain.
Oh, you played with that sign? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
With a trash can that contained the items for review each day, and a throne made aptly.
It was a lot of fun writing these recaps too. And if you go back to Spawn Year, the reason the recap happened in the first place, by the way, is I took a long break. And because I like I said, I got burnt out. I had to take a break. I came back and I went, everybody's going to forget what happened in Spawn Year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember everything that's happened in Spawn Year. So I need to sit down and rewrite.
That's trippy.
I don't know where that effect came from. That might have been built into the... I'm not sure. Hot Soup just put in a $50 super chat.
Hot soup.
Hot Soup is awesome. He's been with us a long time. Thanks, man. Really appreciate you, buddy. He says, best of luck on your movie, Cap.
Thank you.
That's all he says. So I really appreciate your... God, I'm getting out of it, man. What is the word I'm looking for? Support. Thank you for your support. Hot Soup. And Hot Soup is a patron. I get to sit in one of the Superhero Rewind patrons, so I get to say his name.
Villain Batman.
Yep, there he is.
That is also
and he builds these suits himself. Pierce does a lot of Batman. The light filter, or the color filter, dropped out like 1 second before that scene cut. Did you see that? That was unfortunate. But anyway, he's one of the Rewind producers. I get to say his name at the end of every Rewind. I always say it like this. Hot.
Why did I do that? Did you see that?
No, what'd you do?
Tiny Adam West just went like this.
Yeah, I remember that now that you say it.
Yeah.
I love that I just ripped this off the internet.
You ripped that off of Google Images. It's amazing.
I don't know, nor do I really care about the
have we had the shot yet where I throw a Bubbles pillow at Pierce's head?
I don't think so yet.
See, like Pierce is really dry and not real expressive. He just always has this perpetual like smile when we shoot this stuff, and I think that helped him not to crack up because the whole thing was so silly. But you know, like as like serious, and I mean, he has a wonderful sense of humor. But, like, this guy's a cop in real life. Like, he's seen a lot of stuff. He's an MMA fighter. For a guy that is, for lack of a better term, like a lot more, you know, like macho and lives, I don't know, like that's the best word I can think of, but like a lot more manly, masculine, and lives more in the real world than I do. He never made fun of me for any of the crazy crap I did with the show.
Yeah.
And he always took it as seriously as I'd want anybody to on the set making this stuff. Like, as ridiculous. What I'm saying is, he was never too cool for any of it. I said, I'm going to throw a Bubbles pillow at your head, and he went, okay. And there's a scene...
That gun is awesome. Do you still have that?
No, that wasn't mine. That was something I borrowed from Tim Lyons. And that is an aerosol gun. And you can tell when you look at the front of it, because it clearly doesn't shoot bullets. Look, I'm dead.
Yeah, that shot's awesome.
Thanks. And there's Freakadoo.
Wait, how the heck did you shoot that? That actually looks pretty good.
How did I shoot what?
Oh. Is that mom in the suit?
Yeah, that's her in the suit again.
I was like...
Anytime I wanted to be on screen with Swan, I put her in the suit. And I was really lucky to have somebody else that fit in it. Oh yeah, that looked good.
Amazing!
That's awesome.
As hard as Spawn Year was working to make me believe I was losing touch with reality, and that everything I've experienced is an existential crisis, I became certain that this was all still Doomsvince's doing when I reviewed Spawn 199. And conveniently, the freak turned out to be Malbolgia, who was supposed to be dead, just like Doomsvince, and at the hands of Spawn.
I'm glad I spelled out that parallel. We never would have understood what was happening there.
Yeah.
I wore this same wig at Tim Lyons' wedding. Because he had a Back to the Future theme wedding, and he cast me as Doc Brown in that. And so I had watches going up and down my arm, and I had that wig, and it was great. But yeah, the playset we were talking about making. So we want to make a Spawn Year playset, and we want to put... We want to get the old Spawn Alleyway playset and then spray paint on... Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Oh, no, he throws it at my head.
He throws it at you.
I forgot about that.
That's even crazier.
Yeah, I got it.
He got him to
He
throw
used
it.
to be an MMA fighter.
Now he's throwing bubbles at you. Now he's throwing Powerpuff Girls at you.
Sadly, I don't have that pillow anymore either. We had way too many stuffed animals. I had to get rid of some stuff at one point. Oh my god.
I know I'm sick of lackluster and disturbing.
Jason, one of my few real honest-to-God regrets is not having these comics anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I think that I got rid of that. I got a good price for them.
I've embraced my identity as Captain Spawn, and sometime in the next
the shop owner of the comic shop that I used to go to all the time, and that's in our comic shop documentary, kept asking me. There was a guy that really wanted all the Spawn comics, and he was like, "Are you sure you'd never sell it?" And finally, I was like, oh, "Okay." We still have this Coke dress that my wife isn't here.
I turned her down. No matter what happens, I'm not
Sarah did a great job with the silly Coke Angel thing, and she's got dialogue there that you'll hear if you go back to that episode. Again, this is all recap, so most of this is stuff that... Actually, none of this was shot for the recap. I mean, that's all... It's basically a really long previously on. What I meant to say earlier was, so we made the recap up to a certain day, so that people could catch up and so that I could remind myself about everything that had happened while I was finishing the show. And then for the movie version, I wrote up to the very end. And so I did another 5 or 6 minutes of material just for this. And then the intermission is the best part. This was so much fun. And I also got really tired out doing this because I had to jump around for 10 minutes in this mask.
Yeah.
or longer, really. But because we kept this together, so I made it like a training montage.
And you also had like a couple different versions of this, right? Like you had a different edited version, like a differently edited version.
Did I really? I don't remember that.
That was like at the beginning of an episode somewhere. I don't remember where it is now, but there's like an episode that has it.
Brightburns wants to know if you grew out of your Batman logo shirt. Well, yeah, you wouldn't be able to wear that anymore.
Well,
You were like 5. You're like
Yeah.
4. You can see that Captain Spawn needs to work out a little bit. He's got a little bit of a Spawn gut.
You're running out of things to do.
But yeah, it was not the easiest thing to breathe in that mask. One of the reasons that we had Sarah get in the costume too was because it was easier for her to be in the mask than me. My head was bigger.
Oh.
And I would almost hyperventilate in it if I was in it for too long, or if I had to do too much in it, like this stuff. Oh, there it is. There's the teddy bear. And I always loved this song. This was also a Kevin MacLeod thing.
This is Scythe.
McLeod thing. Yep, and that's over there.
That's
we
over
still have
there,
that.
yeah. I brought that out at the last show.
You did. But yeah, I'm gonna find some excuse at some point to use this song again.
You gotta use it at the train. If there's like, I don't know if there's a training montage in the movie. I don't remember, but if
I can't think of anything in the movie that this would be actually appropriate for.
yeah,
Where the mood would just be wrong, but I'm gonna come up with some kind of reason for it. I've used it for playing music and stuff, but yeah, I would like to put it in the. Oh, and there's the Magic 8 skull.
oh, he's punching you.
Guys, thanks for sticking with us and hanging out with us tonight. If you're still here from earlier, we are gonna ride this out and watch the whole movie.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
At least. And if we have a little bit of a crowd after that, I might stick around for at least a few more minutes and talk with you guys.
Yeah, I'll probably go ahead and go. But...
Jason, do you still have a Batman logo shirt like that? That's just the logo?
I think I do.
I know one
but
of your brothers does.
It's in a box right now because it's a short.
Okay, so
sleeve
since
shirt
that was an
and I don't have it.
intermission, I should have done this while that was going. But I'm actually going to go take a real quick break myself.
Okay.
So can you
Yeah.
kind
I,
of run the...
Captain Spawn,
mine the store, as it were?
This is day
Yeah.
This is during the period where I had wings.
of Spawn.
Yeah, you have wings.
I had the Wings of Redemption.
Do you
Not
still
to be
have those?
confused with that YouTube guy, Rings of Redemption.
Do you still have?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in the storage room back here. Yeah, I sold my Spawn comics, but I kept all the props, or at least a lot of it. So yeah, a little bit better at not stretching the comic panels too far,
Yeah.
or the comic
Today,
pages too far.
Spawnier tried to throw me one more
Okay, I'll be back.
secret
Ah,
curse
Sponger.
by giving me
Tried to
2 issues
throw
instead
you,
of once. It's irregular, but not totally unprecedented. It was that day I reviewed all his action figures.
No, I don't want
Maybe
to.
the hope was that
I'm not gonna make real subtitles. That would take way too long.
Side of the bag. That's not totally playing fair, but when has Spawn Year ever
There's-
done that? If you
Yeah, so
interpret
this is when-
Doomsdance's original rule, one Spawn
I
on
guess
each
this
day,
was the
as
only time
whatever
when there were
packaged inside a
two in the
Mylar
same
bag, this
in the
counts as
same
one
comic
item.
bag
Not a very
thingy.
clever trick when I'm this
Why can't I
close.
think of it?
I am ready for anything. Then again, it's
I
also possible
am
somebody
ready
messed up
for
the
anything.
count when they chose the items for review and are just bad at math. 218 and 219 chronicle an epic, thrilling fight between Spawn and Malbolgia, as each tries to gauge the other's powers and abilities and get to the other psychologically. I figured the
Yeah,
last
so
couple
we're at
days
the
would produce
finale
most
now,
agonizingly
and
hard to
it
finish directing
is-
Spawn Year. But these 2 issues
I mean,
are
it's definitely
nothing
the
short
best part of
exciting.
Spawn Year.
I'll even go so far as to say
There are some
imaginative.
great
Just like
sections in
during
it.
the
It has
days,
the
I'm mostly praising it for looking
great,
amazing and being
fight
boring. The actual story
in
is ridiculously
the
really impossible to take seriously.
living
certainly
room
less
with the
cryptic and nonsensical than Hallmark's.
comics on the wall.
Somehow these issues feel a little more self-aware than usual. Melodrama that kinda knows it's melodrama instead of playing at sophistication.
But
Though I don't expect
it
that
still
to
looks pretty
last.
good.
And maybe all of a sudden action is giving it that vibe unintentionally. Once Malbolgia and Jim start testing each other's powers in the dead zone, things start to really pick up. But before that, we get a pointless chase throughout various shadowy areas all over the world as Clown and Spawn try to elude Malbolgia long enough to come up with a plan. Because, like the every creepy animal on Earth is a being of pure evil thing, shadows are portals that creatures of darkness can use to teleport anywhere. Everything is so
Man,
literal
Spawn
in this book.
just
I wonder how these
very
first-grade
confusing.
logic explanations work along with, you know, science.
Doesn't really make
They're trying to fight
any
Malbolgia
sense.
right there in the building where all his friends are above him, and it's Clown who has to remind him that he might get everyone he cares about killed. But Jim seems to think it's more important to show Bulgy he's not afraid than to keep his friends
Dad, I
safe.
can't figure
I
Spawn
know
out.
Clown's still pretending to be Jim's friend here.
He's a
but
quagmire.
even with what he's told Jim that's
What are you trying to figure
actually true, like his
I'm
killing
just trying to
thousands of
figure
humans
out
enough
what's
to war,
happening.
his ambition
What, in
to
the
rule
comic, or-
Yeah, the
He
comic.
has no reason
Oh,
to feel
hell if I know, it's
concerned
like
about
11 years
Mark
ago.
and Susan. Even Clown seems genuinely disturbed that Jim is this.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of this stuff is
A
absolute
couple issues
nonsense.
ago, I would assume it's the costume's influence.
And I don't
But now
remember a
know
lot of
this
the
is
Jim
guy
stuff.
who, with his memories,
Nicholas
murdered
Bodo wants to know
people
how your
he
day's
claimed
been.
to love
Ah,
just
it's been
for
pretty
research
good. I don't-
that had no
what
guarantee
happened
of
today? I
solving
don't
his super
know.
soldier problem. I'm pretty sure this guy would.
You played outside with your sisters a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Clown convinces
played
Jim that Bulgy trying to force a fight
some more
through
Celeste.
Clown
I beat
and reminds
the
him
chapter
that
5
Bulgy's
B-sides.
still missing
That's
a
pretty
piece
cool.
and isn't
Good job.
yet.
Yeah.
So it's smarter to deal with him on their
So
terms.
now I'm on chapter
Now
6.
Bulgy chases them through the shadows all over.
So there's a
town
few
like the
kind of
Kidnapping
gags
Jason Monsters
and
Incorporated.
nicknames and things that
And
just
this is
stuck
the
from the
same
very
goofy
beginning.
cartoon
I start
They
calling
even
Malbolgia
teleport right next
Bulgy
to
very
Rapper
early. That
Fox
sticks all the way
comics. I
through.
wonder if there's an entertainment product in this universe
There's an
that
advertisement for
somehow
Haunt,
associated or owned by
which
some comic.
had
I imagine
crossovers
every
with
regular,
Spawn.
Everyday Joe listens to Kiss and Korn, plays with McFarlane action figures, and watches nothing
Yeah,
but
Image
baseball and hockey.
very quickly
I would
stopped
be
having
surprised
a
if main
honest God
fast
shared
food
universe
chains in this
like Marvel and
universe
DC,
were Walking
but
Dead
occasionally
Burger
they would
and
still.
Savage Taco Dragon. Oh wait, maybe we got food
They-
covered. Let's not forget
Texas Pete's from Chicago.
Taco and Waffle
Yes.
House.
and the angry bovine. The clown town is shifting from place to place to keep Malbolgia off.
The video games were just ripe with
Without
crap like that,
explaining
man.
where he's going.
Yeah.
Lucky for Clown,
That was great.
Bulgy keeps following Jim, and like an idiot, Jim just stands
Folks,
there
tonight we
wondering
have
where he
raised
went,
almost
even though Clown
$300,
just told him Bulgy would find him if he stayed in
$280,
one
and
place.
add that
Just
to the
once,
$750
could I get really
that we raised in the
likable
first
but
show,
dumb as
and
bricks,
we
or
are
completely
past $1 grand
deplorable
now.
but a tactical
Wow.
genius? I don't
Which
even
is
think
very
so.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys so
Something every now
much.
and again. Just give me one.
We were gonna make the
one
movie
time.
regardless,
Yeah.
Clown
but now I
goes
feel a
for
lot
power
more
couple
confident that we can pull some things
Sam,
off.
Is there some reason Malbolgia might guess that's where it is now when he's been stumped by it all this time?
I think we may still
Is
come back in
Clown
and do
taking a
one
giant
more of
risk
these
going there and leading
in
Malbolgia to
like
it?
another
And
couple
since
of
he left
months,
Bulgy
maybe
in
like
no
as
play
we
and
start
now he took the
shooting.
thing, shouldn't Clown be worried
And
that Malbolgia
when
might
we
be
have
this
more
way
of, like,
crap
a,
for him to lead him there and that he's less
An
concerned
idea
with
of
Jim?
what we're
Well, lucky
spending
for
stuff
Clown,
on.
Malbolgia doesn't
Yeah,
manage to
that's a
find
good
it that
point.
way,
When we've
and
got,
instead
more funds
takes Jim
specifically
to the dead
allocated.
zone in the
Yeah.
alleys. He uses the Spawn powers against Jim, saying he created Spawn and controls its powers, and for once, I feel like Jim might be
There's
in
no
real
way
trouble.
that we're gonna
I don't
have,
care, since
you know,
he was going to
excess
kill all
where
his
it's like,
friends
oh,
for
we
no
have too
reason
much
a
money.
few
What are we
pages
gonna do
ago.
with it? You know what I mean?
But
Because
Right.
you can't
I
immediately guess what's going
this
to
kind
happen.
of helps me
Bulgy explains
determine,
the weird
where I'm
arbitrary
cutting
rules
corners.
about
Like,
dead
when am I
zones.
using
God
equipment we
damn
have
it,
already? When am I
if
using
you
better
can't
equipment?
access any dead zone
You know,
on Earth,
that kind of
the
thing.
demons
So,
or angels
like I
will
said, in a
destroy,
perfect world, I'd
and
love
those
somewhere between
creatures have
$3
no
and $5
power
grand.
until they leave the zone.
$8 grand
Miss
is
McFarlane, I think you've forgotten that you're plotting a comic
is
book
awesome.
and
I mean,
not
we'll
a
make-
Yeah, man, it's a lot of money.
We'll definitely be able to
Although,
work with
speaking
that.
From experience, this material really does translate better to one of those. Jim says Bulgy must be scared, and that's why he needs Jim stripped of his powers. He's trying to look powerful and make Jim think he controls him, but really,
So, Jason, I'm gonna
it's
ask
all
you a question.
fancy light show to intimidate him. Now, Bulgy tries to prove his power.
How much do you
Finally
want to
discovered
finally
there
sit
really
down and
is
read
much
some of
more
this?
Jim than the Spawn costume. He discovered
Not
that
really.
he doesn't even
Is-
use
Not
the
much.
costume Because he has a
Is there
power
any part of you that has any
goes
desire
beyond
to do that?
as he
Not
demonstrates
really.
how he unfurls the wings of redemption.
Even some of the
I'm
better
good
stuff
enough
that I
just-
talk about, like, I mean, you're getting it from my lens, so you just have to take my word for it. But like,
Yeah, I'm good enough just watching you talk about it. You know, I don't think I need to read it myself.
Make sure everybody can hear you.
I'm sure, yeah.
Jim's only motivation here is the selfless and noble
Nicholas
goal
Bodo,
of
great
saving
job
the
with the
world
$300. I
from
mean, that's
the
these
plague.
guys.
He's out for himself, period. Unless he's suddenly a decent guy because he's just as mind controlled by the wings as he is by the Spawn costume. 219 is mostly a brutal but breathtaking fight that also manages to explain a lot about why the heck.
You know, you
Jim
set
is
these
so
things
comic
up and
book
you hope for
special.
the best. And like I said, I was going to make the
Everything
movie
comes
even if we
together
got,
here,
you know, we had no
sort of.
donations whatsoever.
And it's explaining why they're giving
but
birth to toddler God and
I
Satan
honestly,
as the
you know, I was
most out there
hoping
story element
we would
story
have
thus far.
like some
The gist
interest,
of it all
but I really
is that
wasn't
while
expecting
Jim
it to
was in his
be,
coma,
you know,
his
as
soul,
great already,
which
even
is
as
near
it
like
has
a
been. And so
angel
it's
that
it's
was rejected
difficult
from
to
heaven, left his body and
respond
tried
and
to
feel like
murder
I'm being
God,
as
which was
grateful as I
impossible
feel. You know what I mean?
because
Like
the
I
cosmic energy was
I don't know how to respond to
well,
it.
then, I don't know why anyone's
I feel like I
surprised
can't
to
say
find out
thank you
Logan
enough,
back
you know what I
from
mean?
the dead. Sabolgi scattered
We're gonna
his
make you guys a
power in
movie.
7 different places back then, afraid Jim's soul might try to kill him too, though.
And no
I'm
pressure or
worried if he
anything,
can't die.
But and not to put you on the spot or anything, but I can guarantee you, Jason's acting will be decent, if not brilliant. I will promise to show up and make a movie. That's what I'm promising.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm also trying to help, like, everyone try to get their,
why this fallen angel was given
you
to
know,
a person
characters
as a human
together
soul,
and stuff,
or if
too.
it was in Jim while he was a
I don't know, you're just
mad
kind of a natural
scientist, and
performer.
my head is throbbing
Thanks.
just trying to process
I'm
And I feel like I'm
not-
better at the
but it
writing
at least
side.
helps
I don't think I've
explain,
done it that
one,
much, but-
why Jim is so much more
James
powerful than
Egan
Al was.
put in
Two,
a
why he
$7.99
keeps
super
killing
chat.
people, and three, why the
$7.99
costume is
Australian.
relevant to him.
And
Lisa
has
chose
he
him because she
donated
thinks
already?
he's
I don't think he
getting
has.
his
He's
heaven
been
and thinks she really
commenting a
can
lot.
kill God
I just
with
wanted to
combined
make
power
sure.
of
No,
the
he put in $5 last
Finally, the
stream.
costume is its own character, and it's fun that it wants to rule the universe all
So-
by its lonesome. After putting up with Al all those years, I am almost rooting for her. I really can't believe there's an actual
Give me 1
explanation
second.
for how the symbiote got so powerful. I mean, it's hokey and bizarre, but I am astonished that it was ever paid off. But I sort of wish I
Okay,
could've
so
read
James, that
97,
puts you
skipped
now
the
at the
216, and
$10
read this.
tier,
The final page
which means you'll get to see the movie a week early now, as well as get your name in the credits.
Just after Darth
And
Maul
he says,
Straczynski's best work.
I'd love to write my own
Beautiful,
comic and
detailed,
publish it
graphic,
one
and
day.
haunting, and I'm
Oh.
actually a little curious to see
He says,
how
I
it
can't
goes.
draw though. Any
About
advice?
it
Love the channel. Been very therapeutic for me over the years. Really appreciate it, man.
Oddly, I identify most with Malvolio,
Glad if we can help
master
you
who can't
escape a
control
little
his
bit.
creation, which
Jason,
creation
do you have
believes
any
asked him.
any
Voldy is still
suggestions
trying
about-
to
about
usurp that
how
control.
to get into drawing? Because
How to
honestly,
get
I'm
into
a
drawing?
terrible artist. When I was a kid, I thought I was gonna grow up and be a comic artist,
Yeah.
or some kind of artist. Like that's what I thought I was gonna do, and I
Oh
never
my
got
gosh!
good at it.
It's the dinosaur.
Which doesn't work
Captain
anymore.
Spawn.
Oh, you actually-
The time is nigh.
you actually heard
the
this episode.
emissary of
Yeah, you
Coke
do.
awaits you. I will give you one more opportunity.
So wait, we did
to join me
some
in
kind
my
of shot of her
holy
before
war
this, before she has
against the
dialogue. Is that what it was?
denizens of Pepsi and
I think
Mountain
so,
Dew.
yeah.
The wings of refreshment
She's
are the
hilarious in this.
apparatus
She's
by
hilarious.
which you may transform yourself.
And we
into
still
a
have that
being of
dress, too.
pure
I mentioned that earlier, and we still got that staff
When
too.
you flap your wings continuously and without pause, you will replace your entire supply of Mountain Dew with Coca-Cola.
And without
And
pause.
be forever transformed. It is a long
So,
and painful
she was
process,
pregnant with
but be
Freddie.
assured, it
And
will
she
not
was
kill
several
you.
months pregnant.
You'll
And
be
Sarah
cleansed
always
of all
would carry
evil.
I'll do my own cleansing.
the
thank you
weight
very
up
much.
front and nowhere
Tomorrow,
else.
when I'm back in
So
my own
shooting
house,
from
I'm gonna
chest
get a
up,
really, really
you'd have no
long
idea she was pregnant.
Then you
And then
are
when we
not
back it off,
worthy
you'll
of
see
the
you'll
wings of
see because we
refreshment.
built that into the
You have
story.
committed
So she's
yourself
pregnant
to
with the Coke
evil,
Redeemer.
and thus sealed your fate.
So we always
Enter
joke
the
about how
arena.
Freddy's the Coke Redeemer.
I shall pray to my Redeemer to give you a swift and honorable death.
I gave her a crap ton of dialogue. See, look. Oh, here we go.
Here it is.
Here comes the big fight. So this is the 3-part finale that we're in right now. This is 64, 365, and the finale. Plush and EX, the power of product placement. Yes, exactly. Nicholas Bodo, I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
How Nightmare
Well,
Before Christmas can
We
you
still need
get?
to talk about drawing.
Oh, drawing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about drawing?
I don't.
Because I never got good at it.
I mean, me neither, really. But
I always cut corners. I never
you gotta-
wanted to do the hard work with it. Was the problem? Like, and I don't think visually,
yeah.
and so it was a right brain, left brain thing. I had a hard time getting myself into the headspace for it.
I like. I think, I don't know. I tried to learn how to draw like people and stuff with like how to draw
is
manga.
the comic shop from
You know,
hell.
those kind of books. I don't know. That's how I started trying to learn that stuff.
We half-ass some of this stuff so much, but there's a charm to it. Like just with printed off the computer signs.
And here comes the owner.
This took forever, by the way. Taping all the comics to the wall.
Yeah, I
to the
helped you
walls.
with a lot of it.
So, you're
We
the
almost had
emissary
to
of God.
postpone this shoot
What are you, 3 days
because Pierce
old?
was supposed to come help us choreograph
Oh,
it.
yep, there's your
And
model.
he got in a car wreck
Oh,
on the way
that's
there,
me.
or his car broke down, I think, actually. And he couldn't do it, so Vince choreographed all of this. We've talked about this before.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually
Oh, I'm
didn't
celebrating is a little premature.
know
don't you
that or
think?
remember that.
And thank God we didn't have to put it off, because I was like, but I've upended my whole living room over this. Like, we've got to shoot it today.
Yeah.
And so Vince helped me get it done. It was great. And, you know, as low budget and silly
You
as
know,
this is, I think he did a
you wanted
really
a
good
real
job
challenge.
with a lot of this
You produce
choreography.
these Spawn comics.
Really, I let him direct this whole sequence.
Yeah.
As far as the choreography goes.
All right.
And then it's Brandon behind the
Let's do
camera.
this thing.
When do you fall into a door?
It's right here.
Is it right here?
So he shoots me back. And then I hit the door there. When I fall there, I'm hurt.
yeah.
I'm like
really.
actually legit hurt. Yeah. It hit my spine
That's
real bad,
really
and I got on the floor and I was like screaming. I mean, like, it was really, really bad. Well, actually, I think I yelled after. I went down and I didn't say anything for a while because I was trying to process it, and then it started to hurt real bad, and I just yelled out. And then everybody knew I was really hurt.
Ah!
Ah!
And then I turned into Brandon. So the joke here is that Brandon is like the white guy that Al Simmons can turn into, but only that guy. Because we do an episode
All right,
where I
second week.
transform into Brandon in the show, and it's Brandon writing in the notebook the whole episode.
Oh.
And so that's a callback to that episode. So if you hadn't seen that and you just watched this, you wouldn't really know why I turned into Brandon.
Yeah.
Ha! Ah!
Ah! Also, all the dialogue that I put
Ah!
in this, I didn't write until I'm editing.
Ah!
So I edited. I'm really good at ADR, by the way. Like,
Those guys.
I don't
or
mean to
not
brag,
those
but
guys,
I'm the best at ADR.
You are. Also, those like strings or whatever the heck,
Get up.
they looked like they fell down like way too much, and you had to like put them back up.
What?
Don't worry, Captain Logan.
I'm sorry, I was reading comments.
This
Yeah,
Noodles
those
are delicious.
those like black
refreshing.
like string things.
Yeah.
that,
For
like they look like they
posterity's
fell down
I
like
am
a
doomed.
They
bunch
did.
of times.
This
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
end of Spawn Year.
Hunter,
No, we were lucky we even
not
got all this
finished.
that day. I am proud of that. Legitimately, I am proud of that shot up at Vince. I think that looks pretty good. And I think it's a pretty cool payoff. I had so much fun editing this. I just tried to go as trippy as humanly possible with it. You got Vince on one side, the Coke Redeemer on the other.
It's kind of crazy.
This was probably like the most elements I had in a timeline.
Yeah.
The whole show. Wow, I didn't remember I put quite this much in it.
This
Okay,
reminds me of
I'm-
like ARGs
Don't come
and
home.
crap. Like
I'm pretty happy with that. That whole thing was pretty cool.
the
And then-
squeaky bed.
Yes, and then Sarah's line that just turns the knife at the end. Don't come home. It's like, oh no, it's great. There's a poster here that I put
Captain
in.
Logan,
As
welcome back to the land of the living. We had almost given up hope that you
when
would
he's got
ever
like
wake
skulls on the
Yeah.
wall
You should
and
really lay
stuff,
off the mountain
and you'll see his face everywhere in the
Take care of
house.
yourself. All
that's great.
sorts of unexpected
And then
misfortunes can
DMV.
befall you.
But yeah, so like change is
Oh my
only
gosh.
inevitable.
You were spraying me with coke.
So I
Your
went
subconscious has been
to
all
a
these
hobby
years.
store and I found
What
that
are you doing in my house?
that poster,
It's
and I
not
bought it for this
exactly
scene because I
our
thought it was
house
just kind of
anymore,
perfect
Captain
thematically.
Logan. But I'll explain that all over breakfast.
So his
After
whole
which
life
you'll
has
be on
been
your merry
ruined
little
and
way.
uprooted,
Where
and
is
Dooms
my
Vince is
wife?
married to his wife,
Where is Jason?
and the
Rise
poster
and
behind him
shine,
is
Captain
change.
Logan. You have a brand new year.
I actually
ahead.
never even.
Alex, yeah, I tried to put things like that in the background, like if you see it, if you catch it, you catch it. Cap going all David Lynch. Yeah, that's about as Lynchy as I ever got.
Yeah.
And then here pretty soon we'll get
Pop-Tarts.
a 5-year-old version
Pop-Tarts.
of you being Dooms Vince or being Dooms Jason. Sarah was such a trooper with this stuff because she doesn't like to act.
But she did a really good job
She
on
did
this.
a really good job on it. The best thing though is her being Dooms Vince.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Pop-Tarts is a great callback.
I forget what it was a callback to.
Where you scream Pop-Tarts?
You married Dooms.
In what episode? What are we talking about?
But I'm
where you,
brilliant, and you'll
it's
wait
like
for
when
Oh,
you
was
start
it
going
Flick-
crazy.
Was it Freakadoo?
Fortunately,
I don't think
Or
it's
is it-
freaking do. I think it's just
period of
you,
sugar-induced
and you
unconsciousness
start going
provided her
crazy,
Oh,
and you randomly just
do I-
scream Pop-Tarts in the middle of a.
See,
bridge.
I don't even remember what that's a callback to now. By the way, the
What
white
more
balance
proof do you
in
need?
this is terrible. Like it's totally differently
long?
balanced on that side than this side, and it's just
How
wrong. And
long was I out
I-
before you
I
decided
must
to get
have
married to the clone I had made
either
my
not
best
had it
friend?
on automatic white balance or had it on that and it corrected it
It was a
wrong.
fast but smooth transition.
Sarah's hair is really
Dooms
cool in
Vince
this
is the
scene.
epitome of efficiency, even in matters of the
How many
domestic variety.
epitomes
help myself.
did you put
This
in
is
Spawn
great.
Year? Like we've already had like 3 in this
I
movie.
say that a lot.
You've got some sort of mind control device, don't you?
I don't need a mind control device. When
That
I have
could've-
such
that could've cut
exquisitely
quicker.
Genius
What is he
mind.
drinking?
Go on the talk.
What is
I'm
he
your intellectual superior.
But yeah,
In
is it
every
is
way.
do I go
I couldn't
crazy
make
after I
you
kill
rich.
Dooms Vince and
Beyond
then
your
something
No,
about Pop-Tarts,
it's-
or
Instead, you
I
let your
don't know if
petty,
it's-
Is it the
childish
jacket?
love of lowbrow
I think it's
entertainment
after
rule
the-
your
I think it's,
heart and
like,
mind,
after the
and
jacket.
You threw me out on the street without
Do you remember the
another
saga of
thought.
the jacket?
And when you ever so conveniently took yourself out of commission,
Yeah, it was like
with
when
one
you
of your
start going, like,
many
super crazy.
He had to do
embarrassing
this
addictions,
speech
I would
so
give
many
your family
times.
Everything
Really?
they ever wanted.
I remember that.
Geekvolution, now Doomsvolution, is a
And we shot all
multi-million
this in one
subscriber
day.
channel.
Like,
Cooking with Doomsvits is a cable television sensation. I have not only
and I don't mean this whole
outclassed you
episode.
in
I
every
just mean
endeavor
like
you've ever
this
held,
scene
but I've
with
elevated the
all this
culture at
dialogue. It's a
large.
lot to shoot
I review opera,
in one afternoon.
Poetry, modern art,
Fine cuisine.
I have turned your audience away from that trite minutia you once critiqued with that
Such a good
loquacious
cape.
mock sophistication, and increased my audience.
Ooh, he almost didn't get through it. Did you see that?
Superhero Rewind is a thing of the past, and no one talks about it or you any longer.
Okay, I did not do
this
that
was
on
always
purpose,
about.
but that's kind of
You were
inherently a funny
jealous of
line.
my success.
Superhero
I was
Rewind
created
is a thing
to
of
make
the
you
past.
better, and I would have done that had you treated me like an independent thinking individual and not some programmed.
I would love to watch this with Vince
I
again,
know.
Yeah.
because I know he probably
I had
hasn't looked at this
few
and thought about it in years.
Revelations while I was under. I was horrible to you, Dooms Vince.
Whenever
For
I
that,
brought
I
him
am
back to
truly
do,
sorry.
and it's
But
been
I
rare,
am
but
not
any kind of
going to
Doomsville
let
thing
you
again, it
take
takes him a
my
minute to find the
family
voice
away
again.
They're already mine.
And the
Your
last
life
time he
wants
was
for
doing
nothing,
like what,
and
like a
your son's
Scottish thing
Yeah.
with it.
is
It was
all
really
but
weird.
painful.
Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. Vince is actually a
Come
good
on in,
actor.
son.
God damn. Yeah, he sure is. And he's already donated for the movie, but I will add that to his
He's
total.
done what, like 50?
Let's face it, Captain Logan. the
Dan
better man
Schneider.
won. The creation has surpassed the creator.
I've got him on here twice, which means I probably said his name twice earlier, so now I feel dumb.
What was yours
But Dan
is now
Schneider
mine.
is up to
And unlike you,
$57
I
now.
sincerely
Well,
hope
that
my
means
project
that you
Thanks,
could
man.
put him
will surpass even
as a
my
comment in your
extraordinary
movie if he
accomplishments.
chooses that, and that would be
Sarah.
hilarious.
No, he's right.
Oh no, that's true.
You not to wake up.
There you are, man.
You
Now
know
he's doing
what
this,
they
Jason.
say. You snooze, you lose.
We made you say that a bunch of times too.
Really?
It's Dooms, Jason. Well, you had to keep getting up and down off his knee.
Yeah. The Pop-Tart.
Well, and the funniest bit in that scene is I don't know if you saw it, but the wedding picture.
Yes, it's great. Did you Photoshop
We
that?
photoshopped it so we took me out of it and we put him like photo bombing his
Yeah, that's
own
great.
wedding. Yeah,
This now has it.
it's come to this now, has
Does
it?
the Magic 8 Ball references to the
You may think
skull?
this all seems like a nightmare.
Yes.
And that is the same
your own
8 Ball,
thinking.
right?
I bought
Well-
that for this shoot,
Okay.
so we still have it. But
We do.
I didn't have an 8 ball before this. I had to buy it for this shoot. I think Spawn Year probably collectively ended up having about the budget that this whole movie will. Maybe
This is great.
maybe a little more, at least than where we're at right now with donations. I could have lingered on some of those a little bit longer.
Yeah.
What did you do with my comic? Sold all that direct to build startup capital to improve your pitiful excuse for business.
Well, I like the way he says business.
Captain Logan,
Business.
this is unbecoming. Can't you simply accept your defeat gracefully and move on?
Why would Tiny Adam West
Going back to this, Vince really carries me through it. Because like I said, I have a hard time watching my performance.
A day before my last entry.
I think you need professional help. I'd be happy to make some calls.
You know what I'm talking about. It was you the entire time. You did everything you could to make me miss an entry.
Brightburns, why does
Even
Dooms
made me
Vince
think
talk
I'd
kind of like a
killed
Bond
you so that I'd
villain?
fall into a fit of remorse and give up. You know, every time something didn't work,
I guess he
you had
kinda
a
does.
contingency plan.
Yeah.
There was always some way
It's
to
'cause-
make me
it's
more
'cause he's gotta be like a
confused or
over-the-top
distracted
supervillain.
or to drive me bonkers.
I wish I could
I
take
would
credit
rewrite
for
that
that
line
scheme.
now if I
Or to
could.
drive me.
I think
bonkers.
bonkers would not be the line.
When I was in
That cut's pretty good.
You pretended you
Dooms
were
Vince.
dead. But you were here the whole time. I mean, it was all you. All leading to this moment.
I like the way we
Hope
blocked
one of
this,
those
okay.
random
Yeah,
elements
I think it.
Where I come forward and I'm not looking at him.
But Tiny Adam West.
Yeah!
There it
he was
is.
the trump card.
It's like 5
Huge,
seconds.
Elaborate setup, all designed as a last-ditch
Maybe like
effort
10.
In case
Oh, okay,
everything
yep.
else failed.
Okay. then.
Captain Cog trying to convince me I'd wake up if I stopped reviewing.
I forgot we did
Freaking
this,
you.
where
Trying
he
to
comes
turn
in and
me into as much
he's
of a
all these
maniac
characters,
as
because the idea is it was Dooms
and
Vince
the
all along.
Spawn transformation.
You should
Designed
have had
to make
him
me
in the
terrified
Spawn
I was
suit,
turning
just as
into
an
a thing
extra, you
I'd
know.
come to represent everything.
I don't think I could have
Would
put him
he
in it.
fit?
He wouldn't have fit in it.
If all that training and fighting
Also, it wouldn't have made any sense.
No, but it would have been like an extra
could
like
make me
thing
think
between
even
just
for a
us, you know.
moment that
Would've been
terrible
fun.
Sure.
existence was over.
I don't know.
I don't know if I
This
still have
place
it, but
was
I took
real.
pictures of your mom the
won.
first time I put her in the
I'd
Spawn
have
suit.
skipped that final
Before
comic.
we realized we
And after
needed to pad it
all
out.
of
So
those
I've talked about this
days
before,
and
but
weeks
we
and
have
months,
a picture somewhere of
after almost an
Spawn.
entire year
Like
of
it looks like
Spawn
she Spawn.
reviews.
It's like it's a female hourglass
buried me
figure in
alive.
that
Oh, that's
suit.
great.
Because I.
Just like
If
it said
you
would.
have to pad it out. We had to
Let me
put
get
like
this
a
straight.
we wrapped her in
You
something
believe
I
that
can't
you're
remember
still in
what,
a coma,
but like
and that
but like
somehow
otherwise the
I'm
figure's
responsible,
wrong.
not
So
the
so we had to bulk it out, and it's
Still
hilarious.
blaming me for your failure.
Bob the Hun put in
don't
a
know how he did
$5
it.
super chat.
Yeah.
He says you're not going to win
I
any
think
Oscars, but you're a
Dooms
better actor than any
the
people in the
real
Channel Awesome
Dooms
movies.
is
This is also a much
responsible
better
for all of
story.
this.
Well, thanks. I stand by the story.
It's
I'm
some
very
kind of
happy with that.
computer program.
I feel like
Designed to have you
the standard
do
is very
and say
low
everything the
when
real
you say that
Dooms would.
we're better than those
Based
movies,
on
but I'll take
my
the compliment
actions and
anyway.
choices.
So Bob the Hun
The
has
rules
he
never
already
changed. Even
donated
when
for the
set
project,
president
Jason?
Bob the Hun. Yes, he's put
You
in 10.
once told
Where
me
is he?
Right here.
that it would
Thank you.
always
So
be
he's up to
possible
15.
for me to review on time.
Although I need to put them down here
And that
too,
means it's
so that we can put them in the raffle later.
So you believe that in order to
So
escape
Bob
this
the Hun,
topsy-turvy
and then
reality
who was
that
the
you believe
other
you're in,
person?
you
It
have
was
to review a comic book.
yeah,
Oh,
it was Dan
Dan
Schneider, wasn't it?
Schneider.
Yep, let me put him in there too. Because once again, everybody that puts in a super chat tonight, or I should say a donation.
Oh, there's another dude's in his head.
Oh, yep, there it is. Because again,
Wow, those walls suck.
oh yeah, they were awful. I don't miss that house. Like again, if you want to put in a donation tonight, but you don't want to put in a super chat, you want to make sure that we get 100% of the funds. PayPal is the way to go, and instructions for that are in the description. But anyway, for everybody that puts in a super chat tonight, you get put in a drawing for the. I should have reeled that in a little bit for the Spawn Year print, and we're gonna give 2 of those away tonight.
The best thing is in this scene. The
Yep.
best thing ever.
The
It's
Coke spray,
awesome.
the Coke spray.
The Coke spray, where you just kind of put it all over him.
The best bit is when he goes like this.
Why do you do it?
Did you see the stupid table in the background?
No,
Did you see? Okay, I'm gonna scroll back for a second.
You know what they say about revenge?
it's a bitch does
And a
serve
dish.
cold.
Something about a dish. Look at this table. So there's a table and a chair back
Yeah.
there? Like a little kid. Because we tried to put it out of the way, but then we accidentally had it in the shot, and it's sitting in front of a room, and the room that it's sitting in front of is the room where I wake up. It's that room!
Oh my gosh.
My recollection, something to do with a dish.
That's great.
You looked at the camera there.
I didn't mean to. I like the way it was framed though.
Also, I remember the slot, and like we went over here.
That's where the old Half Price Books was. They've moved since then. It was really
Also,
cold, and
this-
I had to do this without a jacket.
Also, this song is awesome.
Also, Kevin MacLeod.
Yes.
And then
And I can't find it.
just to add to the intensity or whatever, I decided to drop, and it was really cold.
Oh, that must have been really cold.
It was really cold.
Look, it's Brandon.
So there's Brandon watching Cooking with Doom's Events, because the idea is supposed to be that Doom's Events is really famous now. Has this hugely famous YouTube channel.
Egg white, because it moistens the lean meat. The following spices are necessary: paprika, cayenne pepper,
Good job, Brandon.
Good job.
Acting.
salt. You can
You gotta love the icicles on the
Yeah, it's
sign. That's pretty
awesome.
great.
You didn't even mean to do that. Like,
I
you
don't.
didn't do that.
I don't frequent the comic shop like I used to. I miss it. It was really nice of William to let me shoot there that night, though. And this place looks a lot different
Oh,
now.
no.
They've got a totally different floor, and yeah. So here comes the worst effect in Spawn here,
Oh no! Oh no! Let's look at it.
and this is one of those things where we went, well, I don't know how we're gonna do this. We'll just fix it in post. It's so good.
That's awesome.
And this is the shop that I sold my Spawn collection to later.
And then you just go.
So they wound up in these boxes. Because they were supposed to all be sold to this one guy that ended up flaking out on William, and so he got stuck with him. Hayden Springs said that's awesome. with the glass breaking, I'm sure. The thing you gotta remember is, and spoilers for this, but we get this big revelation at the end that everything you've been watching is a recreation of quote-unquote real events. So we're able to lean on this excuse of anything that looks crappy is because it's a cheap production, and it's meta.
Todd McFarlane isn't a writer, even after 20 years and a great deal of practice. He never
So that's a bookend, that's a callback.
Simmons into a
first episode, which is part of why the first review is in the movie, because they go together. And yeah, all of a sudden you have a review. Again, in the middle of all this.
But unfortunately for me, not a new continuity. And 4 years later, Jim Downing is in exactly the same boat. Yes, with all the public.
So I wrote and then had to shoot all of this before I was finished with all the entries. So I had to go back actually and write another 30 episodes after we shot all of this.
Make him a celebrity, see him kill and torture people and creatures for answers about his
Also,
past,
you must have loved actually been able to record.
Jim looks like Matt Murdock in this shot.
Yeah.
See it again?
You must have loved being able to record with your actual voice.
Horrible human being. Like Al.
Oh, instead of having to put on the Spawn voice?
Spawn voice, yeah.
Of such callous disregard for human life.
And talk like this the whole time?
Yet have Al's bred over
yeah, and you know, I always modulated it. I had to drop it in post by a third, and I put effects on it. But I still had to talk like that. So I'm not talking my regular voice and then we pitch it down. I'm still talking like this, and then we pitch that down.
You have to adjust what you've been told before.
Hayden, I haven't been here all night. We had a family party, so I came in right at that effect. So good! Brightburns, did you catch a cold running off into the cold without a jacket? No, I don't think I got sick. Luckily. Chewbacca's Lover, thank you very much for the super chat. There's another ding. So he's in the running now for the drawing later. Chewbacca's Lover. Again, you don't have to be here to win the drawing. I will announce it later on so everybody sees who won. And you can give me an address to send things to. Like we're doing with the perks for this too. So Chewbacca's Lover. Let's see where he's at now, Jason. $165 for the project. He's well past the 75, but thank you so much.
But now, just because this is the 20th anniversary special, and McFarlane's writing a whole tribute and
even though it doesn't need a rating, will you submit it to the MPAA just for fun? No, there would be no reason to do that. Also, this is better than any of the other reviewers doing a story. I really appreciate your saying that. I had several people tell me that at the time when we put this out, and that made me feel really good because it was kind of in vogue to do that right then. I think, like, mine, I think, was different and stood out because it was kind of a long, unfolding narrative as I was doing all the reviews at the same time. I don't think a lot of people had really tried that. So what a lot of people do, they would have sketches and then reviews, and they were sort of separate. You know what I mean? It was kind of like an excuse to be there, which is what this was supposed to be in the first place, actually. Where it was just an occasion for the reviews to happen, and there wasn't going to be a beginning, middle, and end kind of story.
But taking back the writing duties from Carl.
I think as I was doing this, and just after some more people, not to say that I inspired anybody, but some more people started doing that too. Like Board James is a little bit more like this, where that becomes an unfolding narrative as opposed to just skits, like you have with AVGN.
His main motivation now is keeping Mark, Susan, and Sarah.
Hey, the spring, what is the drawing? So I'm going to be giving away 2 prints that will send you in the mail. They're going to be 8.5 by 11s of the Spawn Year poster, the Spawn Year 10th anniversary poster by Ty overall, and I will try to make this available for purchase finally pretty soon.
He's going to rebuild Rat City with his new foundation.
But we're going to give away a couple of them tonight, and so everybody, oh sorry, here's the movie. So everybody that puts in a super chat tonight gets entered into the drawing that we'll do right at the end, and help me remember to do it, and you get, and 2 different people will get one. And then we'll just ask you to send me an address that I can send the print to. He says, I gotta be honest, I haven't found the patience to watch all of Spawn Year. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I tried to.
It's a lot of material. It's a lot of material, and it's a lot of me talking about stuff that I can't stand at some point, and so certain bits of it are harder to get through than others. I tried to make it as entertaining as possible, but some of it's just, when you're hearing about the material, it's hard to get through.
Yeah.
Like reading it. So like some of the Curse of the Spawn section is like that. Spawn the Dark Ages gets kind of boring, although I like it better than Curse of the Spawn, because Covenant's awesome.
And it feels awkwardly like the book spent the whole last 20 years trying to live up to that.
He said he got to like 50. Well, good on you, man.
Okay, well, I got to like 30, so you got better than me. I just fell off of it.
Well, just jump forward and watch the ending, or watch this movie version.
Yeah.
Before my eyes. There have been wonderful,
and there's Pierce.
There he is.
And he makes a very convincing police officer because he's a police officer.
29, 39, and some of the most.
And so we got some nice production value there, but we didn't have to pay for anything. I mean, we didn't have to buy a costume or anything.
Krasinski draws a worthy and reverential tribute.
He also kind of rewrote on the day some of what I have him saying, because he's like, well, I want to come in and do what I would do, and I don't know anything about being a cop, so I don't remember what he wrote. But when he comes in and says like, "Show me your hands," like I didn't write that. That's what he would say in this situation.
With a shattered window?
I lost my keys and this paperwork is really important.
Put the pen down and come around.
Uh-huh.
Drop the pen and show me your hands.
Stocky Frank Miller Batman?
How'd you know that?
Or something.
Well, he kind of looks like stocky Frank Miller Batman, because, you know.
Just let me finish this last sentence.
No,
He is.
just put the pen down.
I don't think I put those Star Trek ships there on purpose.
Or something.
Turn around.
Or something.
Come out here.
That's like the
Acting.
Get on your knees. Don't look at me.
See, he threw that in there. That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Ow.
That's really funny that you remembered that. This music cue is pretty funny. By the way, we're gonna have all original music for the movie. And I should mention, we have a theme written, and it's awesome.
What the hell are you?
Watch your language, officer.
I made him do it over and over again, and I just couldn't get a great line reading, so we just went with it. Sorry, Pierce, but it was not the best line reading. Yes!
Yeah!
Yes! We had to bring Vince in just for that shot. So you notice, he's not in any more of this, and we had been shooting all day. We did, you're not even gonna believe this, we did the running through the snow stuff, we did all the stuff inside with the Magic 8 Ball, and we did the stuff at the comic shop all in the same day. So the only stuff from 364 and 365 that we didn't shoot in the same day is the stuff with your mom and with you. Mm-hmm. Everything else we shot in one day.
Wow.
And then this stuff was all separate shoot.
Congratulations, Captain Logan. You have defeated me.
I don't know if that was his idea or mine, but having him in the corner sulking on the stairs is kind of a cool image.
Of my own making.
I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but some of this I haven't thought about in a while. And so it's coming back to me like it's the first time, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good shot.
No. I am not.
Hey, Spring, the best line reading of Spawn Year is why in the first
Yeah,
one.
I literally just said that earlier in the stream. Yeah.
Designed to crush
Why?
The goal of this program
I don't have that
is to
Batman
destroy
Begins
your
poster anymore.
Emotion.
Oh yeah, you don't, I guess.
With the very childish activity that has consumed your life.
Now, this is an example where the miking is not great because the camera's too far away and we're just shooting with a shotgun mic, so that would have been better if we'd had a boom mic. One of the things I want to buy for this movie with some of you guys' donations that you so graciously thrown in for the movie is a boom mic.
I knew I was capable of great things. I only wanted you to be proud of me.
You know, I hate what you put me through. It was sadistic and cruel and unusual. But you know, I
Why
have to
did
admit,
that break it like
I'm
that?
impressed. I never saw Doomsvents as anything but a failed experiment.
Little
It
unusual,
would never
don't you
have
think?
occurred to me to think about how I made him feel. He was no good at any of the things that I actually had him built to do.
The contrast
turns
here is not
out
great either.
He's
This should be
actually brilliant.
darker.
He is.
Absolutely.
He
All of
is.
Doomsvents' plots before were lame and barely illegal, but Spawnier is inspired.
I'm pretty sure we shot all this in
diabolical.
one day
I can't tell you how
together,
many
but
times
it
I wanted to
almost
slice
looks
my
like I
own
did
hands
my
off or
stuff
bash my
separate.
skull in just so
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to write anymore. How many times you got right?
I'm
right
actually
through
not
it
sure
and knew
if
just
he and I
where
are
to turn
together
the
for the
knife.
for the scene.
Well, I mean, you also can't tell because he's
Is
so
a
far away.
nefarious mastermind.
But I failed.
Well, you didn't manage to bury me alive.
I don't know. It's
You
just
Yeah.
something about my
else.
performance is telling me
If all
he's not there.
supervillains were judged on how well their nefarious schemes worked out, they'd all be failures. You made me take a good hard look
If
at
I had this
myself
to do again, I would do
and
some
the choices
close-ups.
I've made.
I wouldn't
Made
have
me
all that from far
realize
away. This is a little lazy.
A lot of the way Doomsvents turned out was my fault.
This music.
Doomsvents is
Do 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 do.
He's sympathetic.
But I wasn't programmed to make you
Hayden, what if you had to
care.
make
I'm
the
programmed to
alternate
destroy you.
timeline
Doomsvents has made his
where
whole life
it's Morphin
about
year instead of
destroying
Spawn year?
What would he
I
do
would
if he
I would love
succeeded?
to go back and
I'm
shoot
sure he's got
that,
his
like,
hobbies.
you know,
He's got his
if
cooking,
it
his
were
theater.
possible.
Well,
And I think
it's
that's and I think it's a cool
But something
timeline.
would
Like,
be missing. The thing about arch nemesis is that we define each other.
well, you mean if you started with it? So I don't know if he knows this,
In a
but
way,
Morphin year was actually supposed
he's
to
made
happen.
me.
Yeah.
It
What
was
were you
it
gonna
was
do?
gonna be the
You said it
third show.
yourself.
You want me to tell
You
you?
just want me to be proud.
So
Yeah, what were you
so
gonna-
it was gonna be a
Lower than I am
trilogy of
to admit
shows,
it.
and I'll go through this as quickly as I can because it's complicated. But we were after Spawn year, we were talking real hard about a
I plan to do
sequel,
a lot
and
more than that.
halfway through this, I started
make this
thinking
right.
this Morphin year idea
promise.
would be really fun to
So
do.
long, Captain Logan.
But I didn't want to go right into it
It was a pleasure.
because I couldn't find the right segue.
Yeah, because you were gonna do
See you
the
later.
Clone Saga, right?
Artificial
Well, I'll get to that.
intelligence.
So it was your mom's idea to bridge the gap with Batman year, and then the idea was at the end of Batman year, the villain of that show was going to get launched into space and go to the moon, and then start sending monsters down for Morphin year.
That's great.
And the way Morphin Year was going to work is every episode, to fight a monster, I had to morph through the power of review.
Oh man, you look fantastic.
So I had to review something.
Tell me.
I decided to review a Power Rangers
You're not
episode, which
married
gave
to
me the
Doomsday.
power to morph into a Power Ranger.
That's great.
Told you not
That's
to.
what it was going to be.
Sarah, why
And
is the basement?
I always wanted to do it, and I hate that we
Look
weren't able to make it
exactly the
happen
same.
for lots and lots of reasons.
Why would you
One of
leave
them
me
was there's no way I
downstairs for an
could
entire
get around
year
copyright
in a
with it.
coma? And come to think of it, why do I have no next?
Like I couldn't show footage. I get
Right.
copyright flagged all day
Show
long.
me.
Right.
Like an hour ago, I put Jason.
So
down
anyway,
in
that was
bed,
part of it. And then when
and
we
I
started
asked you to come
actually
upstairs
making
for some
Batman Year,
champagne,
which
but
again we ended up
too
backing
busy.
out of and not finishing.
So it's New
I have
Year's
ideas
Day,
about a way to still finish it, which maybe someday I'll do.
2013.
But anyway,
Yeah.
It
what
hasn't
happened
been
with
a
that,
year.
or what
It's
what I
been an
what I started
hour.
thinking about doing with that
That must have
was
been
because there's so
like
much
the best
clone
thing
stuff
in
going on in the
history.
story for Batman Year. We were gonna
Sarah, it wasn't a dream.
we were gonna take that,
could
and then
not-
instead of going to
could
Morphin
not
Year, it
have
was gonna
just
go to a Clone Saga,
Been a
and it would be
dream.
Captain Logan's Clone Saga, and I'd be reviewing Spider-Man Clone Saga.
This goes
That
without
was
saying,
the idea.
Your New Year's resolution is going to be weaning
Dan
yourself
Schneider,
off
did you
that
see my
new
super
life.
chat? I read it, did I not?
should
Oh, no, I
listen to
didn't.
anything
Thank you. He's $5 super chat. He says, remember when you and Eric said to only read the first 50 issues because it goes downhill after that? This was on Eric's old channel. Yeah, kind of. We were reviewing that shortly after I met him when I thought this material was better. I didn't realize that you were around back then, man.
This isn't going to become a New
So,
Year's tradition, is
that's
it?
Dan
That's it.
Schneider. And he's at $62 collectively.
How
Thanks,
did
man.
you take that out of there? Like, I want to see like the
doesn't look
B-roll
like
of
it
like.
She's just shaking it. And...
Why? Doing what?
So that is easily
I gotta
the
talk to
worst
Dan
prop.
Well, thank God.
I gotta talk
How
to
do you
Dan
feel?
Torrey.
How many fingers?
That's the worst prop in Spawn
What's the
Year.
Shredder's real name? Who played Spider-Man before Andrew Garfield?
6, Oroku Saki and Tobey Maguire. Seriously, that's your lucidity test?
I was afraid you'd come back Twihard or something.
So you.
Hayden wants to know if there's a Dooms Austin.
Of course I did. Did you get my weapon?
Yes, but he just acts like he's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm so relieved you found them. It wasn't easy getting anything in the program.
Oh wow, that.
Wait, sorry,
did you just put it on top of the TV?
Yes.
A couple of words on shredded up pieces of paper or mixed in with a
I just superimposed it.
Look at this Doors poster.
Oh yeah.
Anything bigger?
Dan loves the Doors.
Doomsvin scrutinized every megabyte.
Yeah, see,
data.
I just
If you hadn't
superimposed
taken
it.
my advice, things could have gotten
Doesn't it look
really
great?
confusing and messy.
It's
All you had
very
to do was
believable.
read, review, and ignore everything Doomsvin did or said.
Hell, it might have helped if I'd had a heads up before I went into a second sugar coma and wound up turning into Spawn in an alleyway.
So it goes without saying, but he and I did not shoot this together.
Well, let's see.
Dan recorded all his stuff separately.
Vince pretended to be my wife.
And
my
then
skin turned
when you get to the
green.
end of this, there is a scene where he and I are there together, and we actually shot it together, where it's not superimposed. When we did the party scene, and we had a bunch of people over, we had Dan actually there that night on Skype remotely. When we did the cake teleporting scene, you remember that?
That was all Doomsvin, I swear. I just created the technology and programmed it, except Violator's song selections. Doomsvin made me pick those. I'm not really sure why.
Dirty Dancing fan, huh?
You didn't find the first note? The one in the front pockets of the jean jacket?
Why would I have ever thought to look through my pockets?
I don't know.
I forgot that we called back to the
Well, I just want to know why you would
Violator
help my arch
bit
nemesis
where he's
turn
singing
my
Time of My
mind
Life.
into string
Well,
cheese.
He's been watching me for months. His doomsayers are everywhere. They follow me to school. They dig through my garbage. I'm not sure how many of your subscribers are really Captain Logan fans. Remember the time a while back he stole your
Yeah, I'm not
keys
sure about that
and
either,
broke
actually.
into the Geekvolution P.O. box?
Yeah, he had some kind of transporter beam.
My invention. He stole it from me. Ever since then, he's been using it to teleport things out of my house. I have a jamming
Ever
signal,
since then,
but
it's
one of his
been a
minions
plot
broke in
device, so we can
destroyed
get
it.
anything
While I
where
was
we need
building
it to
another
go.
one, he got a hold of something I should have told
Now
you
you're just
about
watching
another
this.
time.
Yeah, because
The defective clones that
You right?
predated
Yeah.
You getting tired?
a little
They're
bit.
not
Yeah.
actually reanimated corpses. They're
We're almost there.
Some of them not even fully formed, but I kept them in stasis for study. I needed to analyze their remains to build
Well,
new
this
sets,
stuff
but
this stuff
then
is
I kept them around
important.
just in case.
In
important.
case you decided
It's
to
important.
what? Make another clone?
You said it yourself.
So we have gotten to $300
Doomsday
for this
was
stream.
effective.
Once
I got
again,
so
thank you
close
guys so
that
much.
time, I
And that
couldn't
puts us
help
at...
I'm a perfectionist. I built Vince.
Well, Bob the
2.0
Hunt just put
for
in a
me,
$2
but
super
it was
chat.
also a personal challenge. I broke
So what are
huge
we
ground
at?
genetic and
1050?
Please tell me you
Yeah.
haven't made
So we're well
another
over a grand now.
clone.
Bob the Hunt,
No,
$2
no,
super
no,
chat.
no.
Will Steve Baxter come
After
back
this,
for
I
the
plan to
movie?
discontinue
No, he
that
will
one.
not.
So
Steve
you
hasn't been
Vince
involved with us in
blackmailed
a good long time.
He was going to
But
expose
I wish him well. I hope he's doing good. I haven't talked to him in a really long
using the
time.
underdeveloped clones as evidence.
Bob the
I didn't want to
Hunt.
help him, but I had to think about what it would do to you. and
He's
your
already
family in the
there,
long
but-
run.
So
Yeah,
you
I
don't
had
have
think
to
about
put an
myself.
asterisk, but
I'd
Okay,
been
he's
hauled
down
off
here.
to jail for
Oh, but I
unethical
made,
and
but I
illegal
You put
wrote it.
him
Bob
as
the
Bob
Hunt.
the Hunt.
Parents were
Did you
told.
know that you're Bob the Hunt?
You have a laboratory?
You know how people are always wondering what that room back behind me is when they watch our videos?
mm-hmm.
Leads to a secret passage. The wall flips around when you turn the head on a Spider-Man figure. It's pretty awesome.
Look, I understand why you did what you did. There is plenty of blame to go around. I should have never had you clone
That shirt's
in
fun.
the first place.
Spider-Man that goes all the
Then
way
after
around.
that, I should never have
That-
driven Doomsvents out of the house.
Yeah, I think I actually
This is all on me.
I have
just
one
glad
that
you're
is kind of
alive.
like it.
Alive?
It's
You
not.
mean I could have
That's
died?
cool. But
That
I
transceiver sent a beam
think I
directly
actually
into your
sent
cerebral
it to
cortex
Dan
and
Tor, and
flew
he's like,
directly
"Oh man,
into
that
your
shirt's awesome,"
personality
because
to
it's
create
like
a lot
that,
of what you
but it's the
experienced.
'90s.
There was no way.
I've had
to
that
know
Birds of
how you
Prey
might
poster
respond to your
forever.
trauma. When
That's one of the
Doomsday
first
killed
things.
you with the Coke
Yeah,
retriever,
I've got on
That was all
the
part of a lot of
gallery wall
summer
back here. But
TV
that's
that
one of the
probably
first
would
presents
have
your mom ever
shot
gave
your
me.
brain or give you a heart attack. But if you committed suicide,
Yeah.
that
She
definitely
found that
could've done it.
at a comic shop
I'm glad
when
that
we
was
were
the
dating.
one stupid thing I managed not to do. Wow.
This is the one
The whole
stupid
thing
thing I
only
managed
took an
not to
hour,
do.
but I
Oh,
had
by the way, the
entire
white balance in this
years
scene also
worth of
sucks.
memories in my head. What would have happened if I
kinda
hadn't
rough.
gotten all the reviews finished? If I'd been buried alive like Doomsvent's threatened?
My device can compact any amount of experience.
By the way, I don't recommend anybody watch this on a big projector like we're doing.
The video takes an hour. If you would fail,
There's bits of this where I'm like, oh, I wish this wasn't big.
12 feet under. In reality, it would have taken about a day. And I doubt very much if you'd be anything like as well adjusted as you are right now.
Wow.
This is giving me a really good sense of like
Dan, I
things
need you to make
to do
another
again
one.
and to not
What?
ever do again.
No, Cap. I know what you're thinking, and revenge is
Because
not
again, I haven't made anything like this in a very long time.
You're right. Revenge isn't the answer.
And we're getting
Vince is
really
doing all
ambitious
of
with this
this
movie.
to prove
Yeah.
to me that he had
There's
something
stuff-
to contribute to the
I don't
channel
even know how
in the
we're.
first
I would say there are no
He's
fewer
done
than
that.
6 things I have no idea how we're going to accomplish right now.
He's
And
spawning.
I was kind of careful
I
and
can't just
as
show up on his
economical
doorstep.
economic as I could be
So
with
I'm
stuff
going
that I
to
thought
need
we could
you to
pull off
force
as
him
far
to
as
listen.
like locations
I
and
need you to create a message for me.
I think
you
there's
know,
like.
characters and
no
props and
choice.
stuff. But there's a few things special effects
of
wise
course.
where I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna do it. Like I do the same thing with this, where it's the bit where I break the glass and the glass shatters. Like I didn't know how I was gonna do that, and then we got there and we couldn't make it work. We had some ideas of some things we were gonna try, and we just
Hello,
couldn't make it
Dooms
work.
Vince.
But anyway,
Yeah, you
Welcome
could do.
to hell.
What do you hope to accomplish with all of this?
Oh, look.
When I get
You
out
know,
of here, I'm
after
going
doing
everything
Vincent
you put me
with-
through,
with
it
the
would be
disembodied face in
poetic
the air.
justice if I forced
Should I
you
have
to
done
go
this
through
without
the
glasses?
same year of hell I did.
Oh no!
But that's
no.
not why you're here.
How primitive.
You're here because I have a
I
puppet.
love how he's just talking over me.
Because I know this is the only way
It's
you
so
listen
good.
to what
That's
I
great.
have to say. You built this thing to break me, but it had an
Let me ask you a
unintended
question.
side effect.
Can
Spawn
you
here
tell
showed
that
me
this is
that
shot
you
in a different
not only have
room?
the makings of a great supervillain, you have the makings
I
of
guess
a great
it is.
storyteller.
So we didn't have this set up anymore.
Right.
Because the alleyway set is in the same place the graveyard set was. So when I decided to go
where is
back
it?
to the
It'll be
graveyard,
something the internet
we
has
shot
never seen
this
before.
in
A daily review
your
series
bedroom.
structured
It
around
might-
a
oh,
narrative
really?
Yeah.
conceit. People will tune in
Ah.
in front of the
reviews,
closet.
but they'll stay for this relatable
And so we had to
story
rebuild
of
this,
a
but the
misunderstood
lighting
clone
we
who
couldn't
seems to
get
seek revenge
anything
on
like
his
the way it was, so
creator,
it looks
who really
different.
just wants to prove that
I
his
actually did
creator was
not
wrong
realize
to
that's
ignore him,
okay. Weird.
that he had something worthwhile to
And you can tell
contribute
the
all
tombstones
along.
aren't spaced out
I
quite
wanna
the
make it
same
up
way.
to you.
Like it doesn't look the
Producing
same.
your fantastic idea as a web series. No one
Bob the
will
Hun
believe
says I
that
look like
anything
Wesley
they're
from
seeing
Angel.
really happened. It'll seem so
Maybe a little.
ridiculous.
Maybe a little
We
bit.
can tell the whole story. Crimes
And
against
Hayden wants to know if
humanity
Tiny
and
Adam
all.
West grows
And
into
our viewers
medium
will think
Adam
we
West
just
by
have
the time of the
overactive
movie.
imaginations. I'm
Well,
willing to go
he's
through it
he's
all
not
again.
real.
If you were
Yeah.
behind
I don't know how
this
we'd bring him back unless we
Let's
went
put
back
the
into like the
past
dream
behind
world of
us
Spawn Yard.
and create something positive out of all this madness.
Now let me say,
Whatever you decide.
in
Just
certain
sign your
ways,
name in that
our
notebook.
movie is
You'll
a
wake
sequel
up
to
in your
Spawn
bed,
Year,
back at
and
home.
in a lot of ways it isn't. Right? Like it's very informed by this material, especially motivation wise. I think it'll be watchable by people that have not seen any of this. But it's one of those things where it's certainly informed by it, and there's another layer if you have. And now we're about to get to the montage of behind the scenes stuff, which is all real stuff that we shot as we made the movie. So this is where it starts to get really meta. And I didn't know I was gonna do this, but I end up using outtakes and behind the scenes shots as a montage in the actual movie.
Get to work.
Or in the actual show.
Okay, that was the best subtitle mess up ever.
I didn't see it.
I'm nuisance, and this is day one of Spawn. Yeah.
So yeah, this was a really surreal thing to put together.
Oh man, it's the living jacket.
Yep. And that was
Oh, it's me.
Brandon trying to rip that apart, I think. Or maybe it was me, I can't remember. Brandon was there that day. He hands me the Mountain Dew. This is kind of more fun in the movie version because some of the stuff you've seen, like, just recently. And that happened 150 times. Like, we're lucky we ever got through that shoot. Me and your mom. Oh, yeah, we had to shoot that sideways. To get it in. Because that room was so small, or the ceiling was so low, That was so stupid. We shot it like this so that we can then flip it up.
We shot what? What did you shoot?
What did you see where Doomsday was being a zombie? We shot it
Oh,
sideways
Yeah.
so that he'd be tall enough.
Brandon, what are you doing?
And I don't think we have a great shot of the. Oh yeah, this is when we're building over the set, and we were so lazy. We just left the black up and then put all that over it. But the name tags, I don't think we got a clear enough shot of any of them. It was like Vince 1.1, 1.2. Chewbacca's Lover, another $5 super chat. Thank you. He wants to know, you know what, I almost mentioned this earlier. Said, is Jason old enough to read the Bendis Sam and Twitch now? I would maybe let you read that. Or maybe in a year or two. I don't know. I'd maybe go back to it first. But that was the one thing I was going to mention earlier, is like, if you don't ever watch or read any Spawn, read that. There is the blue screen hole in my chest, which was just impossible to work with because of the way I did the set. There's too much green on it. It was a nightmare, and I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, there it is!
Oh, there it is!
That montage was so much fun to make. And then we still have this pajama set that my mom helped me make.
Ah, you were absolutely terrifying. Hey, you want to do my audio next time I do the Captain Spawn voice?
He also says, in Spawn Year, you said you would
I tried to
introduce
keep
it
him
to
up to
Jason when
midnight,
he was
but
old enough you
it's not
loved it.
working
Oh,
out.
I didn't remember
It's
actually
not
saying
enough
that.
to
That's
notice
great.
Spawn Year.
You were watching Spawn Year?
Yeah.
Plus,
What
the
episode
Spawn
were you
Year even
watching?
has a song. It sure does. And again, that was
that's a
written and
good one.
performed
Yeah.
by
Sarah,
the
still working
late
on
Tim
Spawn Year.
Lyons.
I'm not even close to that.
He's
I
one of
got
my very,
90
very
episodes
best
left to
friends.
make.
Well, do you think
And
you
he died in
can come
2017.
up for a few minutes after I put him down and watch the ball drop?
I feel like I need to use every minute. I've
Look
got
up
to finish this, because,
his
I mean,
old band LIE
promised
with
everybody I would get this thing done,
it's an
and
acronym with
I've
the
still got
periods
more
after
shows to
on
make.
Spotify.
be able to
His
make all
group
90
is
in
still on
one night?
Spotify.
No, of course not. You're
His
absolutely
first
right.
album.
Jason, if you're Spawn, who am I?
You're Malbodza.
I might not be done with Spawn Year, but I'm not that incompetent. All right, come on, kid. Let's put you to bed.
Hayden Spring, when will you let Jason watch Netflix Daredevil? We've been talking about that
We've been
lately.
talking about it.
I don't know, not yet. So did you see Vince there? That's him choreographing. That was a rough.
You probably
that was a rough
had
shoot.
to like put on jackets like every time you went back to the car.
Yes.
You're like,
Because it was so cold.
the table again.
He's cleaning it up. I forgot we went back to this montage. Look at us follow through. And then he's done, and now you can go home. That was the first thing we shot when we got to the comic shop. Because we didn't need Vince for the rest of that shoot. So he just came there, screamed, and left. Well, I say that. We had to have Pierce do his part first, but this is all coming back to me. Okay, so there's Dan. He's there.
Oh, angels and devils preserve us. A speech.
A speech.
I'd like to hear what he has to say. What's wrong with a speech?
Well, we're
So-
finally here. We finally made it.
There's a
And I know for a while
there's
it
a
looked like we
mistake
might
in this
never
whole scene
actually get here.
that like
Here's
I
a
don't
series
really know why you
that
did it
was
that way.
supposed
Oh, no.
to
Because
take a year,
Brandon is supposed to be in
because it
front of where
actually,
Vince
you know,
is, but Vince is
original,
just not there.
thing, the original
Oh,
film
yeah.
Vince
Well,
put
it's
through
because
was,
he's being
a
Doom's
whole
Vince, so
year
he's
Yeah, but like there's like
sitting
you got,
down.
like multiple
And,
shots.
But producing that, I mean, was pretty
I
ambitious.
can't believe we missed that.
We had all these
He was just
things
going to the
that
bathroom.
We had to do that Dan Torrey, that the terrifying minds of Dan Torrey and Dumas Vince put together came up with.
So I
it
ended up
had a lot of
improvising
effects,
most of the
like,
speech
putting
because
a
I thought it
whole
would
lot
come
of
off a little bit
jazz
more
and
natural.
And all of that, yeah, and all that stuff.
Believe it or not, this is all prolonging your pain.
And I don't know how smart that was ultimately.
Anyway,
Like, it kind of
thank
works.
you guys for
I think
being
it
patient
works.
for helping us get here. I know 365 days turned into more like 643 days.
Who's counting?
But here we are, and finally, you
Could've mic'd
guys
this
are
differently,
going to
too.
see the final fruits of our labors.
We don't have to sit through all 40 hours of it, do we?
Yeah.
Just do me, britches.
I got nothing going on, Cap.
what we're doing tonight is just the 3-part finale. Just the epic, exciting 3-part finale. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Ooh, yes! Neat. That means we get to watch me beat up Captain Logan! Again! It just never gets old.
So your brain will explode if you think about this too hard, because they're about to watch the epic 3-part finale, but the end of that 3-part
Wait, what the heck?
finale is this?
Yeah.
How does what they're watching end? It's like a loop. Yeah. Does it end with something sort of like this?
Yeah.
And sometimes stand-in Doomsvins, and to Mad Scientist Dan, and also to Brandon.
Thank you very much.
But most of all, I gotta say thanks to my arch nemesis, Doomsvins.
Chewbacca's Lover, you sound like you do in your videos. Yeah, and that's what I was going for here.
Twice. And then all these people in this room, a little bit of my help, but nobody knows the full extent.
And I'm just wearing the tiny house.
I don't remember how much
and diabolical experience
I actually scripted this part, because
but at the end of the
I'm actually
day,
looking at this trying to figure out how I did it, because I don't remember.
Yeah. It made me a better father. It made me a better person. And for that reason,
I must have done like 3 or 4 different versions of the speech, and then I cut them all together.
My arch enemy, Vince 2.0.
Ooh, that's a fun
Otherwise
one. A fun
known
question.
as-
Hayden says, "What would Sarah be forced to review for a year if you swapped places?"
Ooh.
Enterprise.
And
Yes,
this is day
Enterprise.
364.
Although it wouldn't take a whole year.
You're the emissary of Coke. What are you, 3 days old?
See, it's so very meta.
Oh, yeah, there's your
And this
mom.
was
Oh, that's
so. By the way, we are recording the first time all of these guys are seeing this.
Really?
Yes. We got their in the moment reactions to it, which was really great. And I don't think I played it twice. I might have.
Celebrating is a little premature, don't you
But see, look at Dan. Like, he's not seen this yet. And so when we have the silly energy explosion, this is a genuine reaction. Look, I put a reaction video in the middle of my Spawner project.
Yeah, and we're reacting to this.
And we're reacting to the reactor.
All right, let's do this thing.
Wow!
What? Don't worry, Captain Logan. This will be both delicious and refreshing.
Dude,
for posterity's sake.
I'm not finished.
I don't remember that I'm standing next to Vince in that shot. That was a good idea.
That was a good idea.
I'm not finished.
He's not finished.
Okay, I'm not sure if that clapping was real.
Yeah.
Or if I stole that those clapping sounds. I'm not sure.
With a skull.
Thank you. My favorite part of the body, the skull.
Hey, Captain Logan.
Hey, sorry.
All of Vince's best stuff is improvised.
In this other room.
At least a lot of it
We're all
is.
in the living room.
Disney Infinity.
We got Disney Infinity set up right
Disney
there
Infinity.
on the Wii U.
You should have teleported the Wii U.
That's great.
Okay, so you're gonna have a paper plate, and he's gonna have like a normal plate.
Yes. This is the best effect in Spawner.
Get it rigged up, and I'm gonna
Oh,
give
yeah.
you this cake. Is this a good size?
It's actually not bad.
Yes,
It's a really fun bit. I told Dan, I was like, you have to go find a piece of chocolate cake with white
I
frosting.
think we're all set.
All right, cool. Here we go. Let me know when you're ready.
It's not gonna have the
Here-
green
here
on
it
it.
is. All right, here we go. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Vince, I like
Okay,
your
here it
Okay, here it
is.
is.
for your efforts in mimicry.
So of course you have to
doesn't look bad.
You have to composite this down the middle, and if you look too close at the couch, you can see a couple places where the break is. Do you see right at the top, in between them?
In the mimicry of
You can see a place where it gets kind of fuzzy, where there's a piece of it that's off.
Because you have this certain
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I can.
certain vacancy that just lends itself well to being a zombie Vince, and you're so pleasantly idiotic.
Again, one take for both of these sides.
That's great.
Roll You were born for this role, Vince. Do you understand me? I think that you have a certain something. Maybe not for that classic leading male, but maybe there's a certain character actor to you. I mean, you could definitely be any of the greats, like.
But this is how you know how good his improv chops are. If it
How
were
did
me,
he-
I would need you to play back his audio.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
is that-
How did he match that well?
We're making
I mean, I think some of it got lucky.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Oh,
that
they're gonna
mostly-
make a reference to.
I mean, there's just some stuff
Bear.
that's really hard to pull off. Like
Oh, are
for
they?
Instance,
Yeah.
There's some little weird mistakes
We?
you made,
Us?
like things that you just when
Yeah,
we
you
were
are.
trying to get it done quickly and.
In some ways, this feels like a million years ago, and in some ways, it feels like yesterday.
The side did not have a barcode on it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We had a few viewers that were like, "Hey, Captain Logan, there's a barcode there." So I'm breaking the illusion a little bit.
This is all improvised.
There was some other stuff like that too, right? Now, the teddy bear was like you got that spot on.
We did a lot
This
of
entire experience has been
just shooting at the party.
enlightening.
So there's probably 3 or 4 more things like that we didn't include.
welcome here.
I'm not sure. This wasn't
think we'll
intentional,
see each other in
but
the
it's
not
kind of
too
nice that the
distant
wedding
future.
photo is there. Because
Yeah,
we had like the fake
yeah,
wedding photo.
that's great.
It's not the same. It's not the same photo, but it's cool that there's a wedding photo
That's
there.
great.
But that's just where that was in the house, so I didn't do that intentionally.
You forgot this. You ought to keep it as
Happy accidents.
for old times.
You can see the viewfinder of the camera in the window on the door.
No.
Chewbacca's Lover 2 Super Chat. A lot of Spawn here reminded me of Bible Man. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I'll also take that as a compliment, I suppose. I think my writing is better than Bible Man. I'm sticking with.
Oh my gosh,
that.
this song.
Well, it sounds a little bit like the modern
He
jazz.
looked
but
at the
He looks into the
camera.
camera, and that's intentional.
That's awesome.
It's really great. And again, if you think
put
about
Dan
it,
Torrey's name first.
I did. And again, if you think about it too hard, your brain explodes. But I've always been really happy with that ending. We're gonna try to top it, but overall, I'm still really happy with it. Thanks for watching through this with me again.
Yeah.
Again, originally tonight we were just gonna kind of chat with you guys again, like we did last time, but we thought we'd do something a little bit different. Oh yeah, Spawn World. That guy was really helpful.
We don't have to sit through all 40 hours of it.
He just had a lot of archived information and stuff.
I would like to have a restroom.
Because there's not like a great Spawn wiki. And I forget what I got from him, but I remember him being super, super helpful. And he watched some of the show.
Order out for me, sir. I would like a nap, to be frank. In fact, let it play. I'll take the nap right now. I am doing
Yeah, so this ends in 14, Hayden, but we started in 13. Says he would have been 12. I've graduated college now. Thanks for making me feel old.
Cuts, just action. That's all we're about here. Just action from end to night, from the beginning to the beginning. And from the
No,
end to
God.
the end.
I'll show you some action.
No. He's right. We've outgrown you. I told you not to look up.
All you get to say is you know what they say.
You know what, I know, but I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I told you not to wake.
That's what it's supposed to feel like, yeah.
If you don't take care of yourself, all sorts of unfortunate, unexpected misfortunes can befall you.
Unfortunate unexpecteds can befall.
So a lot of the
You know,
credits
you
you're
have a
seeing
fair
at the end of
approximation
this
of my
are
wife.
things
She
that
was
weren't actually in the movie
supervillain.
version, but
I saw
credits
you
from
read it,
characters
Captain
within the show. And
Logan.
I don't know why I did that. Maybe just to pad it out to make it look like more people worked on it. I'm not sure why I did some of them.
No, that's just for the finale. Like that's just part of the finale.
No, but there's bits in there, with some of those credits are for things that are not in the finale. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's just for the whole series.
It's just for the whole series. But I already credited them within the series, so there was really no reason to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just complaining about myself. I like how quick cut this is. So are you going to go to bed tonight with the teddy bear?
No.
You going to go sleep with it? I think you should. Oh, look! And the skull's there, too.
Yeah. Oh. That is really freaky.
I like how tight that editing is. I didn't remember that turning out that well. Like, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but some of that looks better than I remembered it. So anyway,
I am Johnny West, and
gosh.
this is day 1 of Batman here.
Oh, I didn't remember that I did this.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. We didn't end up making the show or finishing it.
Liking this.
Yeah.
What is this, Bane year? Because reviewing now is the bane of my existence?
You will have 48
Wow, I didn't remember we did that. So we put in an advertisement for that show.
and I will strip you of everything.
And this was the first version, and then I changed it.
Whoa, Dad, is that you?
Whatever you do, don't clone me.
I forgot all about this. Don't clone me. Wow. Well, sorry that never finished. So it started as Batcat the 48-Hour Halloween, and then it became Capfall. But anyway, well, we're making a movie now. Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. I remember watching Spawn here before I got canceled. That's really funny. Let me get his $2 super chat logged here. Help me find him. I'm getting exhausted here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and finish up here. I think I said I might stick around longer if we had a big group at the end. We've got a few people still here with us, but it's already almost 11:30, and Jason's got to go to bed and stuff. So, Chihuahua's Lover, I was so excited for Batman Year. You really hyped it up. I feel bad about that. That's the other thing that I really regret about this whole thing is that we never finished that. But like I said, I kick around bringing it back eventually. But you know we're making this movie, and hopefully it'll turn out. But it will definitely get made and finished because we have accepted money, so there's no going back now. But anyway, so what I need to do right now is
You need to make a wheel or
yeah.
wheel names or.
I've got a whole video about why Batman Year ended up not getting finished. If you want to go back and look at that at some point. Sorry guys, I'm just exhausted right now. One of the things that was weird about that is the second version I ended up not scripting the reviews. And I honestly wasn't super happy with how some of that was turning out. So like the story stuff I really liked. And then we had some stuff we shot with you that like wasn't turning out with like some audio problems and stuff, and like it was becoming a big issue. And we were taking forever between episodes, and then and then we ended up having the twins. That was a big part of it. We didn't think it was gonna be twins. Okay, so help me get what's better.
Nothing. There was just like a Google Maps thing when you typed in wheel decide, and there was like a question and answers thing, and the question was, why does it closed? And then the answer was, it why does closed.
Okay, so we've got everybody that donated tonight put in a random draw, and we're gonna spin this right now and find out what two people are going to win a poster. And again, it's this poster. It's the Spawn Year 10th anniversary print. There's the skull there, and there's a Mountain Dew bottle on the ground. some fun Easter eggs in there. Ty did a wonderful job with this.
He did. It looks great.
Okay, here we go. And our first winner is Chewbacca's lover. So congratulations to him. That's the first person that's going to get a print. So next to his name, I will write print. And then here comes the second. And Bob the Hunt.
Bob the Hunt.
Congratulations to Bob the Hunt and Chewbacca's lover. Yay.
Yay.
All right. This was a super fun stream. It was a lot of fun going back through Spawn here with you guys. I really appreciate you. Let's see. Chewbacca's lover, you could do it, or any other future projects as a movie instead of a series. And that's not a bad idea with that. That could happen.
Well,
originally, the whole thing with that was going through Nightfall. And we are actually reviewing Nightfall now. I mean, it's taking us forever, but we will finish it. As, you know, big overview kind of reviews. What were you going to say?
I don't know.
Sorry. Dan Schneider, will you review anything in the Superhero Rewind movie? You've got to review something in it. We can't talk about details like that.
No.
Can't tell you. Anyway, so email address in my description for the two people that won prints tonight, and also for everybody that has donated, please send me an email and or contact me in one of the three ways that I mentioned earlier, so that I can send you the stuff that we owe you and get information from you for perks with the movie. But again, the winners for the... Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. The winners for the print are Bob the Hunt and Chewbacca's lover, so make sure I get addresses from you guys. And in the meantime, we are fading. We're going to go ahead and get going. But thanks a lot for helping us out, everybody that did that. Thanks for just watching, if you popped in to do that with us. And I will be back with more fun stuff here on Geekvolution this week, starting Wednesday. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan. What's up?
And I was Jason. Will you do, like, a request?
Yeah, we'll do a request on Wednesday.
Cool.
I forget what on. It's a movie. I think. Yep.
Okay. I was Jason.
Yeah. We'll see you later, folks. Bye, everybody.